Nigeria. I trust you're well. I am super excited. Like, I am so pumped for this. Like, so pumped. Who is excited? Who is excited? Get in here if you know that you're glad that you got to this part of 2023. Like, I mean, it is the last day of 2023. The last day. We'll be counting down. We're counting down already in hours. Can you believe that? Just like yesterday, we entered 2023. I remember vividly how I got into 2023. Now that I said it, it seems as if it sounded as if I sneaked in. But I remember how we crossed over to 2023. And now we're about to cross over to a new year. Wow. Wow, I am super excited. It is not easy to have gotten to this point. And, when we're about to get into New Year, people start creating resolutions and all of those things, and they are good. But, without you taking inventory of how the past year went, it is most likely going to the new year is most likely going to be like the previous year, because you've not really done the audit of your year to know how it went, what went right, what went wrong, what to do more of, what to do less of, and that is why I guess over 90% of people who set New Year resolutions don't really get to achieve it even by the end of January. Can you believe it? Yeah, so let us do this. I'm super excited to be hosting this. I do this every year. Every last week of the year, I have a reflective time with my audience where I share the lessons that I learned in the lessons that life threw at me in the past 1 year, and what they can make out of that lesson. So if you're watching, please drop your comments and let me know that you're watching. Hi, Emmanuel Augustine. I see that you're watching. Good evening from Facebook. It's good to have you here. Who else is on? Drop your comments so I can see you. This year, I wanted to do it alone also, but I said, nah, how about I bring my friends and China's favor. I don't have normal friends. My friends are abnormal. All my friends are abnormal. How about I bring my friends who are crushing it in their own ways in their respective fields, and we reflect on the year together. And that is how this is happening. And I'm pumped. Like, I am so pumped to be doing this. So if you know anybody that needs to be here before we get started, I need you to share this with all of them. Share this link to all of them. Hi, Andy. I see that you're watching from YouTube. It's good to have you here. I decided to stream to YouTube because, it's been a while I was on YouTube. So I decided, okay, let me just give them a glimpse of what has been going on Facebook all this while. Hi, Christine. It's good to have you here. Hi, Esther, Dada. It's good to have you here. Let us get in. Let us get in. If you're excited, let us get in. I am more than excited, and my friends are already backstage waiting for me to bring them on. Okay, let us do this. This podcast, did I just say podcast? This session is just about reflecting on 2023, the triumphs, the highlights, the lessons also. I believe that even in the good and the bad experiences, there are several lessons that we can learn, right? It's not only from the good that we learn lessons or from the bad that we learn lessons. Every single experience that we have had, there are lessons that we can learn. And until we learn those lessons, especially for the bad experiences, we will not stop experiencing them. Like, it's almost as if these experiences have something they want us to learn. There's something they have come to teach us, but we are not looking really well to see what they are teaching us. And until we learn those lessons, we will not really get ahead or away from that particular spot that we find ourselves in. So let us do this. Macbeth from YouTube is watching. Hi, good to have you here. Mbacha. I hope I got your name correctly. Good evening. Thank you for joining. Priska, it's good to have you here. You love my hair. Thank you. Thank you. I decided to go African. All right. Without wasting your time and without wasting anybody's time I'll be bringing on my guests, my phenomenal guests. Like, phenomenal guests. I said it by myself. My friends are not normal, like I said before. They are crushing it, like crushing it. Anywhere you look, that's my friend. That's Nazafevo's friend. And the way I talk about them. Have you had friends that when you see them maybe on a billboard and like you tap the person beside you, that's my friend. That's my friend. And like, why are you telling me? I don't know you. I just wanted you to know that I know this person. Like, that is my friend on the TV. That is me. And those are the kind of friends that I have. And I'm super excited to be bringing a few of them on here. Unfortunately, a couple of them are not able to join, but the ones that are here are crushing it. And I cannot wait to see what they have in store for us, to get into the conversation with them and just hear from them, right? So quickly, let me do that. I'll be bringing on Mr. Fola Bade of Warrital. Mr. Fola.
Thank you so very much, Naza. Thank you for having me. I don't know why you had to call me first.
Thank you
Like,
so much. Thank
thank
you for
you.
joining
Thank you
in.
so much for having me here. Thank you.
Mr. Fola is the president of Warrital. No, I didn't say that well. Mr. Fola Folagbade is the president of Warrital, Nigeria's leading book publishing company. No caps. Go and verify. He is the president of Nigeria's leading book publishing company, and I'm so honored to call him my friend. Like, you
Thank
know
you
what it means to
so
be
much.
somebody's friend. I'm so
Thank
honored to
you
have
so
you.
much. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Nazra. Thank you for having me here. Let's do this. Okay.
Let's do this. I love that.
Yeah.
Has your friend told you let's do this? My friends told me let's do this. So rest.
Let's do this. Yeah. Let's go.
I'm bringing on next Mr. Fee Stephen. This one. I've not seen somebody obsessed with growth like Fee. I have never seen. I know people who are giving to personal development, but you see, growth. It's an obsession. He's always learning. He's always in this. He's always getting this certification. He's always get. I'm like, can you rest? No wonder he's the convener of Growth Accelerator Conference. Like, he's a growth strategist. He is one phenomenal young man I know that challenges me every single time, and I tell him, I'm so happy that I can call you friend, Fee. Like, it's a big deal to be friends with Fee. Fee hosted over 1,000 young people in Lagos. He brought in, name them industry leaders. DDK. He brought DDK. He brought Chomi Fanyeze. He brought Elisha Maman. He brought so many people, and it was not a free event. Over 1,000 people were in attendance. That's my friend. It was my friend that did it. Hi, Fee. Thank you so much for joining me here.
Nazar, it's so good to be here. I look forward to this conversation. I know why you called for that first, but it's fine. I won't go into that in details. But yeah, I look forward to the conversation. Thank you for having me here.
Are you jealous now? See, are you jealous now?
All right.
Okay.
I am bringing on the only other lady in this squad. Ijoma Okoye, Ijoma Dicta. There's a reason I always put that comma. She does not joke with it. So I'm bringing up Okoye, Ijoma Dicta. Ijoma is Ijoma is this soft, she's this seemingly soft but ridiculously fierce lady that I know.
You didn't have unpredictable. She's actually, yeah.
Okay. Ijoma is so fierce, but she does not talk the way she is. Like, she's so soft spoken. I don't know how both go together. She's so soft spoken, but she's so fierce. She's so audacious. Yeah. And I tell her, Ijoma, and the thing is, all these things I'm saying here now, none of them is for the camera. I tell all these people these things. I tell her, Ijoma, I don't know how you do it, but it is an honor to be close to you, to be in close proximity, and to be able to witness the impact you're making in close proximity to see your processes, to just thank you for letting me into your life and for letting me call you my friend. And not just that, you call me friend too. Thank you. She is the founder of Serene Africa, Creative Writers and Influencers Network. Yeah, I got it. And she's also the convener of Young and More Africa Convention. She's when I wanted to write about her, I said, should I write Millionaire School of Profits or not? There are so many things that she does. She's a consultant. She's amazing. And it's an honor to have her here. Ijoma, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chinaza. Thank you so much for having me. It's really an honor to be here. Trust me. Everything you've said, yes, you always say it to my face. So thank you. And thank you so much. My boss, Ogafola. That predictable word. You know I'm learning from you, boss. You know. And to my
No.
sister,
That's the word for me.
yeah, that's the word. And to
That's
my
the word.
brother Fee, thank you. Fee is a whole lot, a whole lot. So I can't start talking about.
It's a
Thank
whole
you
lot.
so much, guys. Sir?
So much. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Finally, I'm bringing on one. There's something called audacity, but then and people have audacity, but the people that have audacious audacity, that is Peter. I'm bringing him on, and I remember when Duke was planning transitions conference in Calabar, where he brought so many industry leaders too. Duke was like, at some point I told Duke, see, your faith needs to be studied. And did that conference go well? It went splendidly well. Duke flew all the speakers that were not in Calabar to Calabar just out of his desire to help the youths in that area. If you live in Calabar or if you live in a slow-paced environment, you know how the youth can be laid back a lot. But Duke looked around and said, no, I can't be a participant of the greatness in other states and not bring it to my own state. Duke is the founder of Better Africa Foundation, and he's also the convener of Transitions. Duke, you inspire me so much. You may not know this that much, but you inspire me so much. I love the way you think. Duke is one person you want to sit with and just talk with. Like, you love the quality of conversations you will have, and you will not even know when time passed. Like, you can spend time with Duke 5 hours, you are just talking, and at the end you'll be like, ha. What until you if you had any engagement planned before you called Duke, because that engagement will not hold. Yeah, I'm talking. It's a fact. Thank you so much, Duke. It is such an
Thank
honor
you so
to call
much.
you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Nada. The pleasure is all mine. It's such an honor to call you friend as well. And I can see every other person in the house, Fee, Stephen, Ijeoma, and the phenomenal Mr. Fowler. I celebrate all of you. It's such a pleasure to be doing this with all of you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming, Peter. Let me thank you for coming. I'm taking the mic from Chinasa to be the host. Thank you so very much for all you do. Thank you so very much for all you do. I've been seeing your work. God bless you
Wow.
more. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. I celebrate you hugely. I celebrate you.
Yeah.
But
All
that's spoken
right.
for us, so it's fine. No problem.
I see somebody in the comments, Mr. Raymond Dokmani. Wow, thank you so much for joining us. Mr. Raymond is, I don't know, do you ever do you ever stay in a place? Because it has reached to ask. Raymond will be in Nigeria today. Call him the next minute. He'll tell you, I just reached Cyprus now. I'm just in Rwanda now. I'm like, we're not in this world together near. Raymond is all over the place. Raymond, thank you for all that you do. He's a convener of Youth Spark Africa, and he hosts youth every year to a conference, a transformational experience in Rwanda every year. He's done this for a couple of years now, and it's amazing how much he has been able to impact young people, not just young people, but anybody who really desires growth. I'm just giving you this shout out because you deserve it, Raymond. Thank you so much for being a part of this. I love you so much. Love you. Hi, Rosie Kosi, Collins, Uchenna, Esther, Favor, Mwanya, Bello, Kairat. For the first time I got this name correct. I didn't even ask when I'm jumping. Abasiakeme, James, Uguchidimma, King Solomon, who else? Queen, Goodness, Tosinade, Ona, Grace, Amara, Star. Oh, I thought it was Aria Star that I saw there. Uguchidimma, who else? Goodness. Mr. Sam Harvard, interesting. It's good to have you here. Thanks for joining us, sir. Good evening. Mr. Sam Harvard is somebody I respect so much. I don't know. If you know him, you know who he is. Like, he does not need any introduction. Thank you so much for joining us here. All right, let us get started. Again, I've been trying to tell my jaws to calm down. It's been smiling too much. But I'm excited like a child who just got given a Christmas gift. Like it's such a privilege to be hosting you all here. Thank you so much for honoring my invitation. It was a very short notice, but you said yes. But that is why you're my friend. That's why you're my friend. Thank you so much for being a part of this. I want to get on immediately with the questions that I have in store for you. So, but before we get started, can we get to meet you and know what you do? Mr. Fola, starting with you.
Okay. Thank you again, Naza. My name is Fola Folagbade, the celebrity publisher. All right. I am the founder of Warita, a publishing house here in Nigeria, working with authors all around the world. So we started 4 years ago, and we've been privileged to work with hundreds of authors now. All right, making sure that their book is not just about good content, but also about good presentation. All right, yeah. So, and Chinasa, wonderful Chinasa here is one of our authors as well. Okay, that's little about me. Thank you for having me again, Chinasa.
Mr. Fola is so humble about what he does, but I'm not going to let you be humble on my platform, sir. I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry. Mr. Fola, I don't know what Warrital is setting the pace. When I say it is the leading book publishing company in Nigeria, it's as if I am trying to overhype everything. No. Books published by Warrital are at par with books published by Penguin Publications outside the country. Books published by Warrital are even rated higher. Okay, let me not say higher. But you will not know the difference between a book published by Warrital and a book printed by Amazon. Like, when people take their books outside the country and people see their books, they're like, which publishing company did this? They say it's Warrital in Nigeria. From Nigeria. When people ask, can anything good come from Nazareth? That is exactly what people ask when they see books published by Warrital. So, Mr. Fola, thank you for making excellence your watchword. It's so delightful to witness, and not just witness, but be a part of what you're doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Chinasa. Thank you for having me. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Fee of the Most High, please let us get to meet you.
All right, great. So my name is Fee. I am a digital and growth strategist. I work around marketing, majorly marketing and products. I love to see people grow. In fact, I insist on it. I insist on people that are connected to me directly or indirectly to move forward in their lives, because I've seen over and over again how dangerous it is to be stagnant, to stay at the same place for too long when there are possibilities that are available for you if you just know what to do. So yeah, that's just what I do. So in terms of work, I work in the intersection of marketing, product, and now data and AI. But in terms of purpose, I really just help people grow. Yeah.
Fee is everything he said here is true. It's true. But my friends are humble. I'm not going to let them be humble also. Fee is somebody that, just like he said, he loves to see people grow. Like, you cannot be around Fee and he's not asking you, okay, what is your next plan? Okay, Tina, so what are you doing next? What is this? How is this going? He's always looking for ways to push anybody that he knows actually to grow. And I think it's a very rare attribute to find in people these days because everyone is given to competition and all that. But Fee is not that person that is intimidated by the brightness of another person's light because he knows how brightly he's shining. So Fee, thank you so much for all that you do. I sincerely appreciate you and your essence. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Hi, Duke.
Hola.
Let us meet you.
Hello, everybody. Good evening once again. So my name is Duke Peter, and then I'm fascinated by a lot of things, but I think what drives me the most is designing growth systems for entrepreneurs, thought leaders, marketplace functionaries, and kingdom envoys. Right. So occasionally I orchestrate targeted inventions and immersions for individuals and institutions. This could come by way of the conferences that I organize or the boot camps that I organize and all of that. Right. So I guess that's pretty much it about me. And yeah, I am the founder of Better Africa Foundation. It's a non-for-profit that's interested in contributing to the growth of African communities in the areas of education technology, health, renewable energy, and entrepreneurship. All right. So I'm actually shuffling between my phone and my PC. I forgot that this is the actual screen I'm supposed to be looking at. I got distracted by the viewer screen.
I see you. It's such a
Once again, it's a
privilege.
pleasure to be here. Same
Yeah.
here. Same here.
Did anybody pay attention to his choice of words? He has such a very rich vocabulary. Sometimes when I speak with him, I have to keep my dictionary close, and I'll not even tell him. If he says one thing, I say okay. I'll be like okay. I'll just get my dictionary and check the meaning so I can understand before we go on to the next one. Thank you, Duke. Thank you, Duke.
Thank you so
Instead of
much,
saying
Naza.
I organize conferences, did you hear the way he said it? Me, I cannot even remember exactly how he said it because it was different. Thank you.
Thank you, Naza.
Duke.
Thank you, Naza.
My lady, Ijeoma Dicta, please let us meet you.
Okay, so thank you so much, Naza. Thank you so much to everyone here. My name is Okoye Jumadikta, and I am the founder and CEO at Serene Africa. Serene Africa is basically a content management company that works with brands and organizations in order for them to create great experiences on their digital platforms and in published assets. And then I am the organizer of the Young and More Africa Convention. And more importantly, I'm a profit strategist. I work with authors, brand owners, business owners, event organizers in order to create strategies around their ideas and to create profit routes that would help them multiply their income. So I'm excited to be here again today. Thank you so much to my sister and friend Shinaza. It's an honor to be on your platform.
Don't be blushing like a baby. Ijeoma is he's just like he said, she's a strategist. When people say I'm a strategist, most people don't know what a strategist is, right? Or when people say I'm a consultant, it begs the question, what exactly do you know? Do you know to the point of being a consultant? Ijeoma is a consultant. I consulted with her when I was about to launch my company, Gemspart, and she delivered excellently. She delivered. I'm losing my breath here. She over delivered. Like, people were asking me, who designed your launch plan? Who? I said, is it Joma? Go and hold her. You're launching anything, she'll help you launch profitably. Books, courses, brands. She works with organizations even to launch their products or anything actually that you want to do, and you need a consultant to help you strategize on how to launch profitably. Thank you so much.
Thank
Ijoma. It is an honor, an immense honor to have you. So quickly, let us get on to the conversation of today. Now that we have met all of you a little bit, because you don't even blow your trumpet at all. um, Before we get started, if you know anybody that needs to be here and you have not invited them, let me ask you, are you a friend? Because these are my friends. Can your friends call you friend? Friends that sees value and cannot invite their friends, is that one a friend? No, answer the question. Answer the question. So if you know anybody that needs to be here, this is going to be a very powerful conversation, and it's going to change a lot of things in your thinking, in your thought processes. So I am begging, just for the sake of the person that needs to be here, I am begging that you get them involved. Maybe you tag them, or you copy the link and share. If you're on YouTube and you need some people to join, copy the link and share with your audience. If you're on Facebook, tag the friends that need to be here, or share to your timeline so that more people can join. You don't want the people that need to be here to not be here. All right. So quickly, let us get started. The first question that I have for you is, 2023 was a very interesting year. We're saying it in past now. We're using past tense. 2023 was a very interesting year, a very interesting one. Kind of a roller coaster of a year. And a lot of things happened. There were good, there were bad, there were highs and lows. I think it would be dishonest to say that the year was all splendid for every single person here, because I trust that we're in this country, and at some point or the other we experienced highs and lows, right? But like I tell my audience, it is not just the individual experiences that shape our perspective, but the culmination of those experiences, the aggregate of these experiences that actually make a whole. We can't just define our year by one experience or two experiences. It is everything that happened that we look at and we say, okay, based on all the things that have happened, based on the data sets that I have, this is my conclusion, right? So I'd really like to know what specific accomplishments or milestones stood out for each of you in this year, and how did these contribute to your personal and professional growth? What experiences or what accomplishments or milestones stood out for you in this past year, and how did they contribute to your personal or professional growth? I'll start from those at the top. Mr. Fola, I'll let you go first.
Sorry, I was muted. Okay. I had several experiences, several things happened this year, but I will just mention a few. All right. I think one of the things I did this year that I am super proud of and excited about is delegation. I delegated more this year, and it truly helped me and my company as well. So I moved completely to a large extent from operation to strategy. All right. So, and it really, really helped, I was able to see what I am building from another perspective. All right. So, the day to day operation, in fact, we had to hire a growth manager, so to completely oversee the entire process of what we do at Warrior. So I think for me, I would say delegation is one of the key things that I did this year that I'm super excited about. Of course, it cost a lot to put all those things in place, but yes, it is worth it because I am now able to see the business and where we are headed, in from another angle. And yeah, I think it's a very good one. Then, if there is any other um, thing, I would say that I am also proud of the contribution, the partnership we went into, the outreaches that we had, like the one we did with our superstar Nazar here, the writing competition. I'm really excited. If I'm counting my blessings, for 2023 is actually one of the blessings for us to be able to touch lives. Okay, so we did that, and we also did another one in Port Harcourt, right? And it was also fantastic, So, and again, there was a time we also went out, we call it Warita Cares, and we went out to also touch lives, schools. We went to schools to make some contributions and all. So, other than profit and all, I think touching lives this year is one of the best things I would say we achieved for 2023, and I am super excited about that. I am looking forward to even doing more of that, more of partnership, and then more of outreaches. Yeah.
Wow. The first point you raised was really powerful. Moving from operations to strategy. I think a good number of business owners don't really get to that point because they are all hands in what they are doing. They want to do everything, they want to oversee everything, they want to micromanage everything, and this kind of limits how much of the business, like you said, they can see and how much they can do. I was in talks with a friend of mine and was like, I had to hire, just like you, hire somebody to take up that role so that I can actually go out and meet potential partners and actually bring in more people that can work with us in the organization. And he said that that is the best thing. So at that point, he now had more time to see what is not working, see what is working, see what to do more of, see what to trim out. And I think a good number of people need to start doing that because you can only do so much as a founder, as a president of any organization, or even if you're not a founder of something big, being able to know what to delegate because you cannot do everything. You should not be able to do everything, else your growth is impeded. So thank you very much for pointing that
Sorry,
out.
let me add to that. Okay, so I think it's actually powerful to have that mindset when starting out, and it may be
Mm,
challenging when starting out to start hiring. Okay, and it's even okay for one to start doing most of these things, at least to have an understanding, so that when you are delegating, you know exactly what to expect. All right, but we just have to have that mindset that okay, I can't do this for long. All right, yeah. So I say it, the biggest fashion house in Nigeria, the main person, the founder is not on machine, rolling machine, right? Sewing themselves. Okay, so we have to start somewhere, but of course we have to understand that okay, if I am going to really go big with this, all right, I have
mhm.
to start thinking of delegating. And then when we are delegating this role, when you have that on mind, you will even know when to hire. You will know that okay, fine, this and this has to leave my hands now. Okay, so to just balance it, it's okay to start doing everything, but have that
Yeah.
mindset of okay, one day I have to drop this, I have to drop this. Your role, at least for my own belief, your role as the founder eventually should get to that level that you are just going out to get businesses and contacts for the business. All the operation, how it's going to be done, everything should um, be within the team and all of that. Okay, so yeah, that's it. But it didn't start that way. It took time, it took years. So I'm saying this so that someone out there will not think that, okay, fine, I want to start now, I want to start hiring, I want to start. No, you just have to understand where you're headed to, but it may take a while for you to get there. But just have that picture on mind. Yeah.
Thank you so so much, Mr. Fola. That was really powerful. Fee, what was your accomplishment, the highlight of your year, and how did it contribute to your personal or professional growth?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Nazar. I think for me, this year has been really significant. A lot of exciting things, a lot of you know, relationships formed, activities engaged in. But if there's one thing that I would say that was the highlight for this year for me, it would definitely be the Growth Accelerator Conference. And that was because first that's my first conference ever. A lot of people do not know, but it's the first time ever that I'll be hosting a conference. And when I got to the middle of planning that conference, I started asking myself questions that how will you be having your first conference and you start putting out goals that are this audacious? That where did you get this
Yeah.
right? I can't say um,
Sorry, is it just me
especially
or is his voice is his network glitching?
Yeah, is network. Is
Okay,
network.
Fee, look into that.
change. Right.
Of course, it has to be the growth accelerator conference. It has to be.
Mm.
Okay, while Fee gets that sorted, Duke, can we hear from you? What was the highlight of this year for you, and what accomplishments did you achieve this year, and how did it affect your professional or personal growth?
Yeah, so um, thank you very much once again. The highlight for me this year would definitely be transitions, right?
Of
And
course.
that not necessarily because it was a conference, but and also not necessarily because of the size of the conference, right? But because of the peculiar nature in which, of course, you know the story, you know how the conference was organized, everything that happened, and so my assumption, I'm guessing that this is supposed to be a vulnerable space, right, where
Yeah.
we can touch on some very practical things, so that it could help those who are watching. Right, transitions is one conference or one event was pulled off by faith, right? Mixed with a lot of fears, right? It wasn't one of those things that you say, oh, because these guys are there, they've done it, they've mastered it, so they just know. No, no, no. It wasn't one of those ones, right? It's one that you just went simply because you had a nudge in your spirit to do so, you had a leading to do so, right? The lines were not connecting, the dots were not, no, 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 it wasn't, right? But then you just had to take that leap of faith, right? And it's why I, as a person, hold very dearly and very sacrosanctly the institution of mentoring, right? Because at certain levels in my planning, in the face of planning for transitions, I, with my own by my own self, had aborted the idea, right? Had aborted the vision, but then it took, you know, a vulnerable conversation like this with a friend and also with my mentor, John Obidi, to push me or to give me that necessary push that, enabled. So I say to people, most of what you see is just on the front end. At the back end, the work that is going on at the back end, it's unimaginable, right? But yeah, transitions came, it happened. It was the riskiest thing I have done. right? It was the riskiest thing I have done. Having those faces on the flyer and planning to host transitions in the city of choice. I mean, it's a different thing if you said you wanted to do this in Lagos, right? Or you said you say you want to do this in Abuja. Or
Yeah.
these cities have, heavier returns on investment, right? But this was 100% a give back to society. And again, this was done on the backdrop of the fact that I haven't been online for about 4 years, right? I had shut down operations since 2019, and I literally just went into the cave. Nobody has seen me for a long time. Nobody had heard from me, for a long time. And then I'm just showing up. And then as you're showing up, the very next moment after showing up, I mean, what audacity? Who are you to now say
You're
you're just
just
showing up and then you now want to do an event of that magnitude, right? Someone actually spoke to someone, who finally brought the word back to me. Was like, that guy must have some mind. He just did an event in 2019, ghosted on everybody, showed up in 2023, and then the very month I made an announcement that I'm back online, the very month I announced transitions, right? So I think it's the most audacious amongst many others, right? But it's the most audacious thing I have done this year.
how did it contribute to your professional growth, even your personal growth?
Okay, so after transitions, I moved immediately after transitions. We were in Lagos, right, for designing the decade, and then immediately after designing the decade, we moved to Abuja for Borderless Next, and through transitions, the process of introducing myself was seamless, right? I got a lot of, so you're the guy, so you're the guy, so you're the guy, so you're the guy, you know. And that may not look like much, right? But then it's one, it bears testament, or it validates, the essence of my offering to my generation, right? Bible speaking about, Naza, don't do what I think I'm imagining that you may be planning to do. Just allow me.
My dictionary is already out.
No, okay, that wasn't even the one I was thinking about. All right. But then I was going to quote a scripture from the book of John, right after he would have the baptism. Jesus would have the baptism with John. The Bible will say that and the heavens opened, and a dove came around, and then there was a voice from heaven that said, "This is my beloved son, in whom I am well pleased." But the most important part of that experience was what happened, or what was said afterwards: "Hear ye him." Right? It's the fact that, leveraging on the relationship I had with my friends, the likes of Chinaza here, and every other speaker I had on the transitions speaker roster, and of course the friends who also came through at the back end, the likes of Ijoma here and Fee Stephen, of course. There was validation, right? There was credibility given to my person, right, and my work. And that's not that's a classical, "This is my beloved friend, hear ye him," right? Now you would have to spend a lot of money in ads to be able to achieve that, right? You'd have to, do so many things, right? But then the fact that you're able to consolidate on the relationships that you have built. You're able to consolidate on the access that you have been privileged by God to have, to deliver an event of that magnitude, affect lives at that level, and then by the time the event is done, your name does not die with the event. Your name does not go with the event, right? People still have that, there's still substance left for people to, identify you by, right? It's not that, oh, this is the transitions guy. There are people whose names go with whatever it is that they've done, right? Their persona is so streamlined and it's cocooned, right? So you can't contact any other expression of them outside of that one particular thing. So yeah, it gave me credibility, above and beyond every other thing, it gave me validation, right, above. And of course, we as human beings, sometimes we may act like we don't need it, but we all need validation, right?
Yeah.
We all need that someone or that thing that tells us that we are on the right path, right? That tells us that, okay, yeah, this is good and this is working. Yeah, so it did that for me.
Thank you so much for sharing that. So I see so many people saying in the comments, I'm inspired. Like the transitions event was one that was a success because of how much you believed
Yeah.
in your vision. It was crazy. I say, ha, your faith needs to be studied, Duke, because and it came through. It came through. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that. Ijoma, let me know what was the highlight um, of this year for you, and how did it contribute to your personal or professional development?
Okay, so basically, one of the things that happened in 2023 was that I was able to really understand who I really am. And for someone who has done something, over the years, I started out in 2018 online. I started out my brand, my business, and everything online in 2018. And one of the things I kept on experiencing every year was the ability to reinvent myself each new year. And so in 2023, I was just done with my youth service in 2022, October of 2022. And at that point, I was asking myself, what's next? Now, for someone out there, you are looking at Ijoma Dicta and you're like, she has her life figured out. But at the back end, I was really struggling with what's next. And I had to, shut out some noise. I had to go to my drawing table. I had to think. I had to reflect. In short, I started out 2023 sure of exactly where I was going. This was unlike in 2022, where I didn't know exactly what I was going to do from January. In short, I got the message I was supposed that was needed for me in 2022. I think at the end of January, February, right? But in 2023, I had stepped into 2023 really understanding who I really am. And when people say the audacity and and all of that, naturally, I am built with audacity. But there are times where I try to lock it out. I just want to, I just want to recline to the back end. I don't want to do anything. I just want people to see what you want to see from the out end. But this year, 2023, I think I did more in taking action and really understanding what my message was. And that brought us into all I did at Serene Africa, which is my brand company, and then for the Young and More Africa project, because one of the things I started out in 2023 to do was to create a board of experts. So we had what we call the Serene Board of Experts. And what it means was that I wanted to raise leaders who would build great work ethic professionally and with great excellence. So we had people who were so good at what they were doing. I got those people on board my team, and I began to work with them to serve our clients at Serene Africa. And that was what helped us to expand into a content management company. And 2023 was indeed the most fantastic year so far, right? And while it was also still fantastic, we also had other projects at the back end that was also draining financially, right? But those times where you're looking at something, it's financially draining, but you are looking at the future of that thing and you imagining what this particular thing is going to bring in the future. And that was exactly it for me in 2023. And then the Young and More Africa convention. A lot of people never knew that I never planned to host Yama convention this year. That
Wow,
just
really?
to be very sincere. I never planned to host Yama convention this year. In short, as at May, June, I wasn't when people send me a message, I would see your message and I will not reply. When you ask me, okay, Ma, when is Yama convention going to be held and where? I'll be like, this person should leave me alone first. I have a client I need to attend to, and a whole lot of that. But I think that was in July that my team again sent me the message and we are like, okay, where are we going to have it this time around? And then I was thinking, where should I have it? Now, the major plan of hosting Yama Convention is actually in two cities, Lagos and Oka, right? So those were my two bases for hosting Yama Convention. But then again, the issues of security and all of that came up for Oka, and so we couldn't host it in Oka. Now we had to look for the best alternative, and that was Asaba. So we said, okay, since Oka to Asaba, just 30 minutes drive was there, let's just host it in Asaba so that more persons can be able to come in from other places. And that was it for me. During the planning for Yama convention, we had a whole lot in my head. In short, at a point, I was asking myself, who sent me work? Because hosting an event demands a lot. That's why everyone who has hosted an event, if I cannot do anything, at least I should put that person in prayer, because you need that prayer, you need that spiritual backup. My goodness, it's really draining. And especially for someone who controls a whole lot of things at the back end, for me, it was something for me. At a point, I had to shut down everything I was doing at Serena Africa. I had to shut down. Thankfully, I had built a team that was handling every other thing needed. But the major tasks I needed to handle at Serena Africa, I was not able to handle them. I had to shut down till when we were done with the event. And all I just needed to say was that the planning of the event and the execution of the event taught me a whole lot, and we are looking forward to Yama Convention 2024. So I am planning to Yama Convention 2024 already. It's not as if I was in I was in 2023 and not having a plan for Yama Convention. So we already have a plan for Yama Convention 2024, and it is happening in the city of Oka, Anambra State.
Oh, it has a
So
location already. Great.
yeah.
Amazing. That is great. Thank you so
Sorry,
much.
sorry, Naza. I need to applaud IJ. I really need to say this. Um, you are amazing, honestly.
Thank you.
Because looking back now, you said you started 2018. That means you were, I just had to calculate if you served 2022. That means you were probably 200 level or thereabouts or so in school then.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
you've been putting your life together. That's amazing, truly
Yeah,
amazing. So if you're watching this and you think you're pretty too young to start out, you're missing out. This is
exactly.
IJ, yeah. You understand, having a company of our own, doing things for ourselves, and you are there, maybe you're still schooling and you feel that you want to come out of school without any tangible thing,
Yeah,
right? You're missing it
yeah.
out. I
I
I
agree.
applaud you. Thank you so
Thank
very much for being a
Thank
good role
you.
model, IJ. Amazing.
Thank you, Mr. Fola. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for sharing, Mr. Fola and IJ. Thank you. Fee is back. Welcome back, Fee. Now let us hear from you. You were saying that the highlights for you was the Growth Accelerator Conference. So
Yeah,
tell us more about it.
I think it's interesting that can you hear me clearly now? Is it better?
We can hear you. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Interesting that those of us that hosted events this year, it seems as though I was almost going to say last year, but yeah, this year, it's as if the event just they had
It's not yet last year, Fee.
hosting a proper event takes blood and sweat and other things on
Yeah.
top, right? It takes a lot, right?
Mm.
And that was what it was for me. It's really a lot of not just passion but actual work, actual sacrifices. Um, why it's a highlight for me is this. So for me personally, anytime I'm hosting an event, I see volunteering as a leadership development program. So when I call for volunteers, my goal is how can I get people that I can teach some things over a period of time. So as I call for volunteers, I'm already trying to design a structure, a curriculum that I can teach them for some weeks before the event starts, right? So starting from the volunteering period down to the planning, down to the execution, I was telling people that I had a core team, a smaller team apart from the volunteering team, just a couple of people, myself, John, um, Chisom, Chika, just few people in that core team, and we met literally every weekday for more than 2 months. Literally every weekday. I think we started meeting just after my boot camp in Lagos. That was I think sometime in April, towards the end of April, right? And every single day would meet at 10 p.m. at night. It was a night meeting every weekday. So the event was one that came from planning down to the details. Excellence is very expensive, and the expense of excellence is not just money. The expense of excellence is trying to see the minutest detail, like every single. We literally simulated how a speaker will enter the hall. It was simulated. It wasn't assumed, right? From the speaker coming down from a car down to when the speaker will get to his seat, the notes that will be on the speaker's seat, what will be written on it, the logo at the back, every single detail. So what we do is every single night we focus on one small area, really small but very important. I hold excellence as a watchword, and the conference just gave me an opportunity to express that at least to the best that we could at that particular level, and not just express excellence, but be able to impact lives. Starting with the volunteers, we there are volunteers that got jobs after the conference, volunteers that built better relationships, better friendships just from being a part, an active part, of course, because in every volunteering team, like those that have conferences would know, there are always the number and then there's the active volunteering force, right? So, so we call for volunteers and I think we had over 150 people. We had over 200 people that wanted to volunteer, and then we selected, I think, a little over 150. But then the core volunteering force was, less than 100. Those that finally give themselves to it. Um, there were times when during the planning where things were relatively difficult. When you have expectations, you have goals, you have everything, and it's not working directly in the same way that you had wanted to. Um, we are all human beings at the end. Sometimes I have this, most times, right? I'm extremely frustrated with myself because I know that I'm doing everything right,
Okay.
For
I
us to
think we've
take
lost
over.
you.
like in the able to think. Yes. All right. I think I'm back. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you
Yes,
hear me
we
Yeah,
now?
can hear you.
yeah,
All
yeah.
right. This is one of the issues I faced in 2023. This network issue, right? I don't know if you know it because I have backups of network. I'm using an MTN 5G. I have an Airtel network, but a time comes when all of them just have a meeting and say today we're going to frustrate this guy. But it's fine. Um, so yeah, so it helps me with personally building courage, which is a very major requirement for doing anything great.
Yeah.
Building courage. I know sometimes when I speak with my very close friends about the real way things are going, because there's a way things are looking like they're going outside, but there's a real way things are going,
Yeah.
in real time. Number of
Yeah.
registration, number of
Exactly.
sign ups,
Yeah.
this, that. When I talk to some friends about it, I know they're feeling for me, but they won't say it because they'll
Yeah.
not be the person that will tell you
Mm.
that. But yeah, it was profound. It taught me a lot, and also made me to build even stronger relationships. Opened a lot
Mm.
of doors for me. It
Mm.
just taught me that literally things that you put your mind on is possible, because it all started from it was like air, like you can't hold it, and then we started building
Mm.
and building and building and building and building until the events that happened on that day,
Mm.
right? So I think that was really significant for me.
Mm.
Thank you. Before I share what I learned from what you shared, I have to say we are streaming to Instagram right now, and I'm certain that I see some people joining, but StreamYard can only take 1 hour on StreamYard, and we're already 59 minutes and some seconds gone. So if you're watching us on StreamYard on Instagram, I'm so sorry. I'm going to put up the link to join us on YouTube just after the 1 hour mark. Okay, so you can just go to my story and join us on YouTube. Just had to say that. You said something very profound. Fee, courage is needed to do anything great. I think, I think that is more like the conclusion of the whole matter, because anybody can
Mm.
dream, anybody can want to do something, but it takes a ridiculously amount of courage to get that thing done. Because I like the definition of courage. Courage does not mean that you don't see the obstacles or you don't see the limitations. It means that you are more convinced about what you want to achieve than the obstacles you can see. So you still go ahead despite the seeming challenges and the setbacks that you're facing. And you're a true definition of someone who is courageous. Fee. Like, it was too audacious of you to think. Like, it was the first conference, for crying out loud, and you were thinking 1,000 people. And it was a paid conference. Like, who does that? Who does that? Fee, you did
He
it.
does
Okay,
that.
when I entered the hall that day, that was what I did before I started walking in. I took a very deep breath. I said, Fee, you did this. I remember when I hugged you, I said, you did it, Fee, you did it. It was so beautiful to see. And just like he said, excellence is very expensive. Fee is an excellent person. And to think that he was planning this conference and digital business boot camp in Port Harcourt at the same time, and he delivered excellently at both events. It blew my mind, because even planning one single event is something big. It's draining, but he planned two at the same time. It was John that said that at every point he would like people tell him, John, excellence, excellence. It was nothing less of excellence, and you delivered it. You over delivered. I'm just thankful to be a partaker, not just a witness, but a partaker of the greatness called faith. Thank you so much for sharing, all of you, your highlights for this year. I think for me, it was actually launching my company. Finally, it was launching my company, because for the longest time, I did not want to charge anybody to pay me. Like, why should you pay me? So I was always giving value for free, giving value. I had been given to so much impact that I did not even think I needed to be paid. Not like I didn't have what to do with money, but I mean, why should people pay me now? I can give this value for free. Until just as Ijoma came into my life, but she didn't come into my life a few months ago. But when we became closer, she was like, Tina, no, you don't have to. This has to be more structured, because I had put out a program, a training earlier. And what are you doing? My goodness. Okay, that was my son. Yeah, I forgot to mention that I'm a mother. I didn't mention it on this broadcast when we started, so we might have some distractions here and there. Thanks for your understanding in advance. So I had to put out programs, but when she talked about structuring it and making it a company in itself, I was like, I'm not doing that. So I'm not, because why? It's already big enough to me that I'm hosting paid classes. You don't want me to go corporate. I'm not going corporate. You have to shoot me for me to go corporate. Why? It was a struggle. It was a very big struggle. Every time she would mention it, I'll change the topic until I saw that it was absolutely necessary that I structured what I was doing more. And we started planning, how would it go, these expressions of you, where do we bring them, where do they come under? And after some time, we were able to come up with GemSpert and GemSpert University, and every other expression of me that you see. In November, in November, we eventually launched the company. Now, for me, it was, as I said this in transitions at Duke Peter's event, for me, it wasn't going corporate was not about how I dressed. It was more a thing of the mind for me. I needed to change. I not change now. I needed to adjust my understanding of myself, my whatever I identified to be Chinaza favor. I needed to make adjustments to that schema in my head so that I could express myself in these other ways. Because the truth is, as you are growing, different um different different things that you want to do will require different versions of you. And if you are not willing to adjust, if you're not willing to adapt, you will not be able to function well in those places. So for me, I knew that higher was calling, but I was running away. I was running away. I didn't want to be a part of it until it was eminent that I made that switch. So I had to sit with myself, told myself, okay, Chinaza, this is where we are, and this is what you need to do. So I made that switch. So when I went corporate, I posted it on Facebook. I have gone corporate too, but it wasn't about the way I dress. It was more about the reprogramming that I had to do in my mind. It was the highlight of my year actually. Yeah, I did a lot of things this year. I hosted the writing challenge, which was really big with Mr. Fola's company, Warrital, where the company supported us hugely and immensely. It was my vision. I just shared it with Mr. Fola, and he said to us, Warrital is going to be a part of this. And he put his weight behind it. I've not seen that before. He put his weight behind it. And it was really fulfilling to be a part of some people's success stories. But away from that impact, what happened to me this year was me redefining, knowing. I tell people a lot that my identity is not cast in stone, but I had to apply it to myself again at that point. I had to redefine whatever I thought Chinaza Favor was, because a new territory was calling and I needed to change or adjust so that I can thrive in that new territory. So that was it for me, and it's such a privilege to have experienced that this year. I trust that next year is going to be a lot better than this year. Thank you so much, everyone, for sharing that. I can't believe that we were on one topic and 1 hour is gone. Okay, let us get on to the next question that I have here. In terms of, um, okay, can you share a specific instance where collaboration or networking played a pivotal role in your success or learning journey in 2023? This is a very important question because I believe that we have heard this quote a lot. If you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, you go with people. I really want to know, how did your partnerships, your collaborations, your networks, how did they help you this year? What role did your networks, what role did your collaborations and your partnerships with other people help to push you forward? How did it really, what role did your collaborations and your partnerships and your networks play in your growth journey and your learning journey this year? I'll start with Duke Peter this time. Are you there, Duke?
Yep, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, beautiful. Sorry, I'm trying to set up my lighting and it's just not working. That's why I'm having to talk on audio right now. Okay, so
Okay.
the question is on collaboration and networking. So yeah,
Yes.
it it did something really remarkable for me this year, especially again we're going back to transitions, right? You know what they say, um it takes a woman to give birth to a baby, but then it takes an entire community, right, to bring up that child,
Yeah.
right? So when the idea of transitions came in, I took a while to brood on it, right? So I could understand the fine prints of the idea. I could master the the in and outs of the idea. I could work the idea out end to end and all of that. But when I was transitioning from ideation to execution, right, I realized one of the first things I had to admit was where my strength and my weaknesses are, right, and build on my strength while I delegate my weaknesses. So I guess I think one of the first people I spoke to about the idea was UK Enon Jr. UK Enon Jr. is a very dear friend of mine and a brother, and he said to me, just on that same call while we're talking and then just brainstorming about the idea, and he just said to me, Duke, don't worry, this is gonna work. This is our thing, right? This is our thing. So immediately I shared it to him. He owned it as though it was his project, right? And he went out of his way to pitch more people onto the project, right? As though it was his project, right? And that was I mean, of course, we had other sponsors, right? Or other sponsors and partners, who also went out of their way to do quite a number of things just to make this a monumental success. But this is just one example that I'm choosing out of the rest, right? Especially because I think he's more known in this space, you know. But yeah, in transitions would not have happened, right? And I say that very categorically. Transitions would not have been successful but for the input of friends, the input of of partners and sponsors, and I mean that from the tangible inputs to the intangible inputs. I remember there was a time we're having a bottleneck at some point close to the execution, the moment of execution, the time of execution rather, and that was just about the time that Feast even got on board the project. And I hope I can quote it as accurately as he said it, and it was that something along the lines of, if anything will affect the project, just let it not just be you, right?
Mm.
Whatever wants to happen to the project, these are constants that we agree some things can happen, but by every means necessary, it must not come from you. So if there's a mail that is left to be sent, send it. If there is someone that, even if it's a minute to the event, whatever is left to be done, make sure that on your path you can justifiably say, like Paul, I have fought the good fight of faith, I have run my race, I have finished the course, right? The limitation must not come from your end. I know. And I remember many nights, right, where those nights, like I said, people just see what happens on the front end, back end, nobody knows what's happening. Many nights. At some point, almost all the speakers I had on the roster, they were not just speakers anymore. Right? They became co-organizers. Right? Because Nazar will call me, Duke, how are you doing? Are you fine? Have you eaten? Are you okay? And I'm like, well, this is what's going on. I know the moment where she tells you, Duke, I know the version of the story you're telling other people. Tell me the other version. the one the one that you're the only one that knows, right? And then I'll roll out that version, and should give her input. Now, this other version of partnership, because people do not rate this as high as and as relevant as the tangible partnerships, right? But again, I maintain the position every time that the man has to be in shape for the mission to be successful, right? If the mission, if the fine print of the mission are gotten, and the men or the man or the woman who has been saddled with the responsibility of delivering that vision is out of shape, right? The mission will suffer, the vision will suffer, right? So as an individual, I do not place the vision and the mission above the man, right? Because you would need that man to be in optimal shape, to be functioning at optimal capacity, to be able to deliver on that vision, right? And so, what this did for me was that it helped put the man in shape, right? The man that wants to go and deliver transition, let's make sure that he himself does not transition to glory as he's planning to as he's planning to help other people transition. Right? And then Nazar will make calls. Ijoma got on board the division much later, and then Ijoma would pull strings left, right, and center. And I'll just sit back in Calabar. Ijoma was far away in Kano, Fee was in Lagos, Nazar was in Lagos, UK was in Lagos. At some point, UK had to be shuffling Lagos and Calabar, right? And it was so mind blowing how, you know, so there are two scriptures that stand out, in expressing this particular point. One, scripture that says,
When I
"Write the
when I
vision and make
saw
it plain."
your profile picture, this suit, I just knew you have anointing on you. You have the anointing on you. How many scriptures now? Awesome.
Please pardon me. Please pardon me. It says, "Write the vision, make it plain, that they may run that read it." Right. And another iconic one that I love in the book of Psalms, it says, "The Lord sent His word, and great were the company of them that published it." Right.
Yeah.
So eventually, all I had to do was, capture the vision, right, and then build a community of people, right, who I could entrust this vision to. And I watched how these people ran with the vision, right? Starting with the ones here, the ones in my closest, in the ones in my closest network, right? And even volunteers, right? I would see people go out of their way to do things, and I'm like, wow, what if I never, right, captured this? Or what if I had given into the limitations that were so mountainous in front of me, right? Or what if I never yielded to the counsel of my mentor to go ahead, right, and do all of that? That's why I, I mean, pardon me if I overstress this. As a young person, as a high flyer, or as someone who's intending to be a high flyer, you cannot underrate or downplay the institution of mentoring, right? You would be
I
so
agree.
marginalized. You would be so marginalized if you do not have a system that you submit to consciously. And then, so the thing about submission is that it's not slavery. It's not a weakness. It actually takes strength, to be able to submit your
Yeah.
ideas, submit the blueprint of, you know the things that you can in quote say that, oh, this thing was God that gave this to you, right? It takes a lot to be able to submit that to another person, to be able to who can provide guidance and guard, who can both guard and guide you, towards, manifesting that. So yeah, it was an interesting one for me. And like I said, transitions wouldn't have been successful without the people that I had around me, whether as friends, as partners, And so this is a very huge shout out to, my friends, all of you here, and the ones who are not here. I owe you guys tremendously. And of course, I'm going to repay that. I wish you could see my face right
You're
now.
so articulate, Duke. I could listen to you talk all day. Like, so articulate. Thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you, Nazar.
B, talk to us. Talk to us.
Okay. Yeah. So if there's any one advice I'll give anybody, like I keep saying this over and over again, both to those in my inner circle and when I'm speaking publicly, that if someone asks me that, give me just one advice, like I don't want too much, just one, it would be to build relationships. I have seen relationships. I've seen how powerful. I always say this, that relationship is a currency will sound like a quote until it happens to you. You see that's
Yeah.
that sentence. Relationship is a currency. It will keep sounding like, oh my god, what a deep quote, until the day that it happens to you. When it happens to you, you'll be like, nah, relationship is a like it will become and it's so powerful, so powerful. A currency
Mhm.
in many ways. It saves you time. The currency that replaces all the other currencies of life, the currency of time, the currency of energy, the currency of money. Relationships can literally take the place of each of those currencies sufficiently. This year, a relationship that I did not know I would need as at 2021. I came into Lagos in 2021, and one of those days I went with my friend Peter Bassi to a church in Lagos, House on the Rock. And I was coming out of the church, and I heard my name from. Sorry, I just relocated to Lagos then. I relocated to Lagos late 2021, so I was new in Lagos. So when I heard my name, the person that called my name was trying to be sure that I'm the one, because normally I'm in Kaduna, so they're seeing the physical fee in Lagos. And I turned, and of course I was on my turtleneck, so it was easy to
Of
detect
course.
that I was the one. And this guy walks to me and introduced himself. I was like, oh, he's been following me. He loves the things I do. And he was like, if there's anything I want to do in Lagos, that he'll be there and he wants to be a part of it and things like that. And we got to talk, for a quite a long time that day. It was the first time I was meeting, and we spoke for a bit. 2021 came and went, 2022 came and went. And then in 2023, that relationship with John and Milo that started then became what I would say was one of the most powerful forces behind the success of the conference. Um, I have volunteered before for people. I've volunteered for my mentor for the winning mindset, and it's not easy to see someone that can literally take up your burdens and make it his own. It's so profound that someone can take up the things that are strong burdens and own it and personalize it and say that don't worry about this. And it's not just talking, like you can just say that I'm not going to worry about it. Why? Because this person has said this, and that was what John did. And beyond John leading the team, he was the team lead for the conference. Beyond him leading the team, my friends, the people that I have, different kinds of relationship with, both within and outside Nigeria, they showed up in ways that I can't even begin to imagine. I remember one that I even wrote about. I know that he will not be happy I talked about it publicly, but it's not my business, right? So I talked about a friend of mine, Abraham. All of you would know him, Abraham Rote. We're having the conversation. He was like, "Oh, Fee, how's the conference going? How is it going? This and that."
No,
We're just
exactly like him.
Yeah. We're just gisting. I think he had traveled. I think he was in Lithuania or so at the time. We were just gisting. I was like, "Oh, how's it going? How's registration? How's speaker engagement? This, that. What about the team? How they doing?" And I was like, "Oh, we're just working on this. We're working on that. We're trying to settle this and that." And the next thing was like, "Oh, I'm going to support the conference with $500,000 naira." That type of talk, that gist that is like, "Oh, you guys are just gisting." That is almost like play. So when he said it, I went silent, and he started saying, "Hello, are you there?" it was as if it was a network issue, but I was actually there. I was trying to process what he just said from a casual conversation, and he did that. Before long, he literally just sent the entire thing. And when someone does that type of thing, you know that this is someone that has a family. This is someone that has a business, has 3 businesses. This is someone that is not looking for where to use what to use money to. There are several possibilities to use money for, but that is like sacrifice. So I have enjoyed not just sacrifice in terms of energy, time, commitment to my courses, to the things that I do, sacrificing in terms of finance, not just from Abraham, from literally a lot of people around me. I remember when I put in one of our groups, a group where myself, Chinaza, and a few other high flyers are, that I needed a public address system. I just put it like I was literally frustrated. I wanted to speak to NYC people and give them a chance to grow their lives, right, at the conference. I needed a public address system. There was no way I could get that easily, except I want to go and pay a DJ or something of that nature. And I didn't have the time or the energy for that. And I put it out there, and the next day, Chinaza came to. I was thinking when she said she has a public address system that she can help me get. She spoke with the person, she got the go ahead. I was thinking maybe she would just send it with an Uber or something and get it to me, right? But Chinaza actually came with the public address system, helped me to share physical flyers to the corporate, stayed with me almost all day while we were making invitations. It was something else. You can't say that someone doesn't have a plan for the next day, but this was someone canceling an entire day just to come and be with you and support your ability to invite people for a conference. That's not something you can just get. That's something that it takes intentional effort. And just to let you know, there are some corporates that came from that day that till today they are still my DM because of the impact that conference did for them. So I want to still thank you again for what you did that day. Just from that gesture of yours, we have people that have entered into a particular path in life that would most likely either taking more time or more energy for them to get there if they had not had the opportunity to be at the conference. So yeah, collaboration has been really massive for me. I can't even begin to talk about it's a lot, so many instances, but I'm super grateful for every single person. I always feel that, I don't just feel, I say it, that I think I'm very privileged with friends and with people that I have around me. It's a privilege, really. Every single one of you. So yeah, that's it for me.
Thank you, Fee. Yeah, you Fee preaches relationship like the gospel. If he preaches it and he lives it actually too. Fee is a friend. Fee is someone that you have in your corner and you're like, if he tells you to go, if he tells you to go and rest, just go and rest. And snore like a baby because you are certain that whatever it is that you're working on is already a success because Fee is with you. Thank you, Fee, for sharing that. Ijoma, let us hear from you.
Okay, so fantastic. As I continue to grow in my journey, one of the things that I was faced with was being able to build a great network with people. Now, ordinarily, I've always been a sole runner. Like I'm always a standalone person, naturally as a person. But as I continued to advance in my journey, one of the things I had to embrace was going into networks, was building the right relationships with the right people, and sustaining those relationships. And
Mm.
at a point in my journey, one of the things I had to do was to learn, because most times we think that these are things you just know. You have to look out for certain people who are doing it well and try to mirror what they are doing, learn what they are doing, see how they are doing this, how is this person doing this thing, and all of that.
Mm.
And so when it was yet time for Young and More Africa as a project to launch Young and More Africa in 2020, that was when I really understood that it was important to build the right network. Yeah, it was so funny how we had to host the first edition of Yama Convention. It was a virtual event. I think we had over 3,000 registrations. It was a virtual event, and my goodness, it was wow. And that was at the end of the COVID-19 lockdown and everything. And that was when I really understood that IT, you wouldn't have done this on your own, right? And I became more committed to going into the right network, building with the right people, and sustaining that relationship. And as I continued to grow, I also learned to honor people, and to not just honor people, but to show them how much of honor I have for them. And that has helped me so far. So every year when we want to host the Young and More Africa convention, the problem is not usually who is going to be my speaker. The problem is not that, right? It has always been a way to like convinced me that all I have been doing over the years that I've been doing well. And away from even the speaker part, the partners, right? So I would just, especially for this year's Yama convention, I already told you that I didn't have a plan for this year's Yama convention. In short, God bless my team members for sending me that message again, even after ignoring the ones that they've sent before. So God bless them for sending me that message again, because that was actually what made me to say, okay, let's have this event this year. And at a point, I would get random messages. I see what you're doing. Please send me the account details so that I can support this. Please send me the account details so I can, amazing. People I never knew were following me. Even people I
Yeah.
never knew were reading for me. These were people I hold in high esteem. We are connected. We are friends on the Facebook friends. So these are not people I go to their inbox to chat with. But some of
Yeah.
them, their messages were just like, almost some of them were their first message to me, right? So I was like, I see what you're doing. Send me the account number for this event. Let me sponsor. So let me sponsor with the platinum ticket. Let me sponsor with the diamond ticket. Oh my goodness, that was the highlight of understanding that sometimes even the network and connections that we're trying to leverage, those will not really start from hello, hi, how are you doing? No, some of them will not even start from there. Some of them will start from understanding what you're doing, seeing you execute those things. These people must have followed me over the years, right? Some of them have followed, I've been friends with some of them for almost 5 years. I saw one a Facebook reminder yesterday that I was a friend with. I've been friend with this particular person for 5 years. I said for 5 years. When I started speaking with this person was just last year. Oh my goodness. And that was because I was hosting an event, right? And I said, so this person has been in my list for 5 years. It was so much it taught me a lesson. It gave me some sort of lessons yesterday night, and it's also a lesson to anybody. Some of the networks and connections that would help you are not basically going to start with hello, hi, how are you doing, have you eaten? No, it will not start with that. Oh my goodness. So some of them would be from understanding what you're doing, studying what you're doing. Some people will look at what you're doing. They will not even tell you anything, right? They will not even
Yeah.
send a message. Some people would be your friend. They wouldn't send a message. And it's just for them is, let me see what this person is really doing. So they are seeing you doing the same thing consistently, right? Seeing you doing the same thing over and over again and getting better at that thing you are doing. And that's just the hallmark of it. So I'm one of the things I always say is that if I have been helped so far, it is by the people God has placed in my circle. And just like AJS, Apostle Joshua Selman would say, he would say that people are conduits through which God blesses man. And I think I would wrap up with that. Thank you.
Yep,
Wow.
that's correct.
Wow. Wow. You highlighted something that is not easily recognizable, and that is that some connections happen when people see you express yourself over time. I've seen this happen with me personally. I'm not going to go into that, but I confirm totally what you have said. It's not about hellos and highs. Sometimes it's not even about building relationships, but about you confidently expressing yourself consistently over
Yeah,
time. Then they
true.
see that they can trust you with their time, their commitment, their
Mm.
resources. So when it eventually happens, it's just like it's just as if it has been building up, and it actually has been building up, just not to the
Mm-hmm.
constant. Thank you for bringing
Yeah.
that up, man. That's really powerful. Mr. Fola, let us hear from you.
Powerful people. Thank you so very much. I have learned a lot from this section. Thank you guys for being vulnerable to share your experiences. Okay, so for me, ah, when it comes to networking, and my life, that's what my life is revolved around, anyways. Okay, so anybody that has worked with Warita understands that we are family. Okay, so and I will come from that angle because that has really, really paved ways for me, right? I have been able to work with the people like, you know, vice president of Nigeria. It wasn't because I knew him directly. It was through network, my network of people that, we've worked with, and they love what we do. We have a relationship. So I am surprised when people render service and they think that is all. And
Yeah,
maybe someone buys from you today and you think that is all you can get from that person. No, all right. That support that you can give to that, I mean, you build a community around your people you're serving. Okay, so recently I was invited to Abuja to sit down with one of the biggest pastors in the world. I'm not saying Nigeria now. And it was conversation around this project. These are things that ordinarily wouldn't have happened without proper network. And I am super excited at what we are building at Warita because we have repeat customer, and that's the joy for me. People
yeah,
that, of course, We publish for them. They have to come back again. It's not like even they are coming back. They're already in the community. Do you understand? So, but they are republishing. You know, we have 5-time authors, 6-time authors, and that is networking for me. All right. Sometimes we look at this word networking as a very big word and all that. How about the people around you? How are you managing the relationship with them? All right.
Yeah.
And trust me, someone knows someone that knows someone that knows the president. Okay. So if you are not managing that relationship well, you may never have to you may never have to see it with the president. All right. So network and the relationship is a big part of me. It's something I don't joke with. I have and it's also when we say networking and all. For me, even my team, all right, the way I communicate and relate with them, we are family. So it's not a big word that you have to go and start looking for the meaning when we say networking. We're talking about the little things you do to the people around you. Okay, so I have some of my team members that have been with us for since 2015, and that's a big deal for me. All right.
It is.
So I have people that have been in my circle that we've been working together as clients since 2014, 2013, 2012. So you can imagine the relationship that I've been building over the years. Okay, so it's something that you just have to be intentional about when you meet people, when you work with people. Don't make it a one-time thing. Look at how you can keep solving people problems and how you can have them in your circle and how you can build a good relationship with them. It's not a one-time thing. You would always need people. All right. So we want you to go all out to go and look out for big people to connect with, go to events, go to conferences, meet new people. But trust me, start with the people you know right now. If you have a staff, how are you relating with them? If you have a
Yeah.
friend, how is the relationship with them? I said this,
Mm-hmm.
if your friend cannot vouch for your work, like your friend cannot tell someone that, hey, I love this. I mean, I have this person that can render this service. Then trust me,
Yeah.
is that your work is not good? Is that you don't have a good friend or you don't know how to manage the relationship? Your friend should be the first people to be able to talk about you. So all this relationship or network of a thing, please start with the people in your life right now. Manage them very well. They will attract the great people you are looking forward to meeting and adding to your network. Thank you.
Wow.
Wonderful.
That was amazing. You know, when we pray for God to connect us to our destiny helpers, people don't really get it, right? We are so nasty to the people that we have around us, and then we're praying for destiny helpers. What exactly do you want to be helped with? You're already sabotaging your chances at your destiny being helped, because just like you said, somebody knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody, and when you nurture your relationship, it's like a ripple effect, right? You nurture this one, and then maybe in your conversations you mention something that you need in passing. They have taken note of it because they know it's important to you, and they have seen how you do your thing and know that it can. I know this person who knows this person, and if I can put in word for this person, this is going to be theirs. You know, how do people get into rooms they never imagined that they will be mentioned in? Because of the networks that they have. It's not even about your expertise so much as it is about the relationships that you've been able to build, right? So it's very, very important. For me, it was building relationships and collaborations helped me a lot in 2023, but I'm going to just mention one. Well, not well, I have a couple of them. It was my relationship with Ijoma here that helped me launch my brand profitably. It was, I remember when I was hosting, when I wanted to host Refresh Tour this year, I reached out to Fee Stephen here. I told him, Fee, I'm having an event too, and I need you to come and be a speaker at that event. He said, sure, Chinaza, sure. Fee is that person, one of the persons I know that honors friendship. Like he honors. I can tell somebody proudly. I can tell somebody, uh, someone might tell me something that I know will be difficult for Fee to say yes to, but I'll tell the person, go and tell Fee, tell him that it's Chinaza people that sent you. And Fee would not say no. I'm sorry. He's that person that honors, values relationships. So when I invited him to speak at Refresh Tour this year, he said, sure. On that day, Fee showed up fully because I had a very crazy week that period. So the night before, I didn't even sleep. I was a shadow of myself at the event, but I tried to put up a strong front. Fee saw through that. It's something as okay. Let me take over at some point. Let me take over this this activity because I see that you're already losing it. I said sure. He took it over. He organized everything. I was now an OS member. He organized everything. Fee was there. Fee gave up a speaking engagement that could have paid 100,000 naira that day just to be at that event. He cancelled it just to be at that event. And I didn't even know what he had to give up. It was when he came that he told me, that is what building, having, nurturing relationships can do for you. Now tell me if he needs me tomorrow, if I will not show up very well, like carry it on my head, whatever it is that he needs me to do for him. Tell me if I will not be able to show up. But we are so concerned about what we can get. I think this is a mindset that people get when they think networking. What can I get from this person? What can this person do for me? But Ijoma is that person I know that cannot connect with somebody she knows she cannot give to. When she wants to connect with somebody, she'll be like, how can I be of help to this person? If she does not know what she can give that person, she's not connecting with the person. And that is me too. So when you want to connect with somebody, first of all, look at the value that you can bring to the table. How can I be of help with this, to this person? It is how valuable you are to the person that will determine how sustainable that relationship will be. It may not even be financial support. It can be emotional. It can be your energy. It can be your time. There are so many things because when people hear support, they think it is all about money. It is not. You have so many currencies that you can give to this person that you want to connect with. And I really hope that in 2024 that you are very intentional about the relationships you're building and get it um, to a solid place. All right, it's not just about getting, it's more about giving than it is about getting. Thank you so much, guys,
Yeah.
for sharing your thoughts
So,
on
Chinaza, can I
that.
can I lend my thoughts? Can I lend a thought on this?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, so I actually wanted to talk about it when Mr. Fola originally did, but then I had to allow you do your thing, and then you now fell back on it. So that's why I feel convinced to still proceed with it. It's about how people approach networking because um, oftentimes you hear the saying, as the saying goes, your network is your net worth, and because of that statement, or because of how that statement is oftentimes presented, people primarily have a transactional approach, right,
Yeah.
towards building networks, right? Most people don't think transcendence, right? Most people don't think transcendence when it has to do with building a network. So we look at people and just judge them for what they can do for us, right?
Yeah.
But I have a different perspective as to how these things work, and it follows a lesson I learned from the man called Naaman, right? The man called Naaman. The way the Bible puts it was
Mm,
that he was a captain,
okay.
right? He was a captain, he was an army general. However, he had a defect, right? He had a defect. If Naaman, and I want to believe that he has spoken to his colleagues, he had spoken to his contemporaries, he had spoken to the best doctors and the best physicians in Israel at the time, right? But the solution to his problem, as big as it was, did not, in short, I'm not so intrigued by the solution to his problem, where it came from, as I am about how it came,
How?
right? About how it came, because it came from his ability to pay attention to someone who was in his network but not at his level, right? Someone who was in his network but just not at his level, and that's the servant. Now, I'm saying this because many people despise people who are seemingly not at their level, right? Simply because they do not look like what they can, they don't look like they can give to them what they are looking for, right?
Yeah.
So for example, if you were in, if you were in a flight, or you're in an airport, chances are higher that, and you saw Dangote in that airport, for example, the chances are higher that you would gravitate towards wanting to get across to him, pitch to him, and and all that, as against wanting to pitch to someone else who just isn't as promising as Dangote in the airport, right? And many people have missed out of breakthrough opportunities, right? Long ago, when I was doing a study about this, I realized that these people are called destiny connectors, right? Most times we just focus on destiny helpers, right? And then we overlook the people that have what it takes to connect us to those people, right? And sometimes the people who have what it takes to connect us to the people that we are looking for do not look like what they can do. They do not look like the capabilities that they embody, right? And all of that. So I'm not quite sure if I was able to organize my thought on this, but I hope I was able to just make some sense out of it. It's basically to say that we should not undermine the people around us simply because they don't look as promising,
Mm.
as we expect them to be. Sometimes the answers or the solutions we need may not necessarily come from them, right? It may come from something they know that even they themselves are not practicing, or someone that
Powerful.
they have access to, but they are not leveraging that access efficiently
Mm.
or effectively.
Thank you so much, Peter. Sir, sorry, let me add to that, and
Please be arguing.
I would just add from my, I mean, business angle, right? Yeah, that's at Warita. See, just like you said, some people will not look like it now. They may not look like, okay, they can take our services. They may not look like, yes, they can afford what we are doing right now. You understand, and all, or whatever it is that you are selling. Okay, but trust me, I have some people in my circle that have been there for years, and for one reason or the other, they couldn't even publish book with us. Do you understand? Like, maybe they could not afford Warita, but guess
Yeah.
what? They are still in my circle. And when they see people that can afford Warita, in most cases, they won't even mention who published for them, because they knew in the first instance that if they had the money, they would have published with Warita. All right. So
Yeah.
when they see people that can afford quality and is ready to go all out, they recommend. They don't even go back to recommend their uh, you know, publisher or whatsoever. So I agree with you on that, that people may not look like it, and all, but they may have the right contact that you need. So don't undermine anybody in your network.
Yeah.
Thank you, Peter.
You know, okay, so let me add something to what everyone has said here. So there's this thing I used to learn about someone having access to uncommon favor, uncommon access, uncommon relationships, and all of those things. And most of those things are usually brought by people who know us, or people who are in connection with us. Let me give you an instance from the Bible too. Do you remember the paralyzed man whose friends brought him from the ceiling down to meet
Yeah. Yeah.
With this your hairstyle, I knew you will mention the Bible. With this your hairstyle, I was expecting a sing, mommy Gio kind of hairstyle. Sorry.
Okay, so Mr. Fola. Okay, accepted. So you could see what it looked like for his friends to go the extra mile to open up the ceiling
Yes.
and bring him down
Yes.
so that Jesus could heal him. Now, also pointing to the story of Naaman that Duke pointed out, Duke, you could also remember that it was his servant that pressured him because they said that when he came to the king and he said that who is going to heal him of that
Yeah.
ailment, and then the king
Mm-hmm.
said we have somebody in this land
Mm-hmm.
who is going
Mm.
to do that. And then, so they started talking about the prophet Elisha, right? And at a point he didn't want to go ahead, right? And it was
Mm.
his servants who said, when they told him, a big man like that, they told him to go and dip himself in the water for 70
Yeah.
hours. And then it was his friend who told him that, or his servant, sorry, that told him that he should go ahead and do it. So you can say that most times it's not even the bigger people in our circle that would give us the pressure to go. It's usually the people either
Yes.
below you or even the people in the same level as you. So one question I want to ask you today: do you have someone that is pressuring you? Do you have? You don't have? Oh, it's a problem. Go get
It's a
somebody that
problem.
pressures you. Some of you, the reason you stay away from some of your friends is because you know they cannot tolerate rubbish. That's the reason you stay away from some of them. But sometimes that pressure is what is needed, the positive pressure, so that you can become better. So that person you're running away from, or that person that you think sometimes it could be people who have given you access, but because you feel like you don't have, you don't want to be accountable to this person, you try to withdraw. And yes, sometimes those people will also watch you withdraw. Nothing will happen. So you want to ask
Yeah.
yourself, do you have people who push you, people who pressure you to be better? I think that's it. That's just what I want to add.
Thank
I think
you.
it's my
Thank
turn to
you.
add since we've all added, so that it won't be as if. So I think majorly what I would just say is what has been one of my guiding principles when it comes to building actual relationships. And it's quite simple. Anybody can test it. You can literally test it January to March of next year and come and tell me if it does not work. And it's quite simple. Be the reason why someone else is making progress. That's just it.
Yes.
Just be the reason why someone else is making progress. Is there anybody that can say that this level of my progress happened because of you? For some people, it's so terrible that there is no one person in your life that can put your name in their story. No, but not even your younger sister, not even your younger brother. Is it that bad? Like, not even your family, not even none of your friends has experienced any little amount of progress because you exist. It's terrible. And it's not, when I say it is not so, when I say it that way, it helps you to know that it's not just about money or it's not just financial, right? There are several ways you can be instrumental to someone else's progress, right? It can be as simple as sharing a flyer, or it can be as simple as, okay, you're scrolling through your Facebook and you see, sometimes when you see something that doesn't concern you, you do not just scroll fast, because the fact that it doesn't concern you doesn't mean it doesn't concern anybody around you. You can see
Yes.
an opportunity that is for people in fashion. I don't sell clothes. I'm not in fashion industry, but I have people in fashion, so I can copy that link and I can share. You can see an opportunity for
Yes.
someone in leadership. You can copy that link and you can share. What if the person gets the opportunity, travels to the US, and it just opens up a new level for the person? That person can never talk about his story without saying,
Without.
"Dicta sent me this link. I was just on my own, and this someone just sent me this. This person sent me that." So you intentionally put yourself in people's story, not for a reward, but because by doing that, you are setting yourself up to never be without help. And that's how it
Yes.
works. So I think I'll just stop there.
Yes. So that points to being even selfish. Selfish, like, there's a way I want to put it so it will not sound selfish. You want to be in people's story, just like Fee said, so you cannot be without help. That is a selfish reason to want to build relationships.
Yeah,
but
that's a positive
your
selfish.
selfishness is fueling someone else's growth.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is where we say, we say there's something like good selfishness,
Yeah,
right?
positive
The
selfishness.
I want personally, I want people to mention my name at every point in their, in fact, someone will say, at this point in my life, it was Chinazafu that helped me. See these people that won the writing challenge, tell me if they will not mention Chinaza Favor in their stories anytime they're telling the story. Tell me. There is no way they will not. It's a selfish desire, I know. But my selfishness is helping them grow. It's like somebody, just like Fee said, you are really trying to, push someone, share opportunities. Sometimes it's a selfless act, but
Mhm.
even in our selfless acts, there's an atom of selfishness in it. So own your selfishness and make sure that your selfishness is fueling someone else's growth. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Um, I have a couple of questions more to ask, but I'm going to merge two questions in one, right? I have been privileged to. By the way, before I continue, I want to say thank you to everyone still watching. We have 66 people watching. Um, Many of you on Facebook, on YouTube, or even on Instagram. We are still live on Instagram. That's why I did not share the link to YouTube anymore. So that's a good thing. Thank you so much for being here. If you have not shared this video, please share. The part I want to ask, the question I want to ask right now, I want you to pay real good attention. And I'm certain that anybody who you'll be inviting will really benefit from this session. All right, so share this video, tag your friends that need to be here, let them hear, like, be the reason somebody else's 2024 is made, because you invited them to this session, so that they can say in 2023, this person invited me to this session. Yes, they want to feature in their 2024 story. All right, so thank you so much for sharing all this that you have shared. I knew we were going to spend time in this relationship aspects, because it is very pivotal, it's very, very important. And if we don't get the basics right when it comes to networking and building relationships, we will continue making mistakes that hurt us in the long run. Sometimes we burn bridges because what we had in mind when we were trying to form a network or build a relationship was wrong. So when we didn't get that, the way we even withdraw and everything just burns bridges. So I'm glad that we're doing this. I see you tagging your friends. Well done, Ori Basi. Well done, Miriam Okeke. Mr. Sam Howard is still here. Good to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. Thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying every piece. It's an honor. So let me ask this question. So I've been privileged to watch all of you express yourselves so authentically, so powerfully. And when it comes to being a high flyer, a lot of things are at stake. So for some people, they have to choose between family and work. For some people, they have to give up their time to themselves so that they can show up in different places. For some people, their kids don't even know what they look like, right? Because they are always all over the place trying to get money. But I want to ask, you have been able to achieve so much, so much. These two questions in one. How are you able to balance being a high achiever and other aspects of your life, your personal life, your relationships, and how are you able to not tip the balance at some point? Or have you were there times when you made some compromise, but generally, how are you able to maintain the balance as you go for your audacious dreams? Secondly, what how are you able to maintain your sanity? Because in these times, self-care is not overhyped, but it's not really understood. People think just sleeping is self-care, or just having a spa day is self-care. How are you able to maintain your sanity? What are the practices that helps you to, keep your cool even in an insane world? So two questions: how are you able to maintain balance, work-life balance, and what are the practices, the self-care practices that help you to stay productive um, this year? I'll start with Ijoma Dicta.
All right, so fantastic. When I began to pay attention to balance, was I think 2022, right? Naturally, like I pointed out earlier on, I was done my service in 2022, meaning that all through the time I was building my brand, I was a student. And it was funny how I was, having to combine studies and business. And so a lot of persons then, a lot of people online never knew I was a student. And I think that's another thing. One thing with me is that I don't know how to show this part of me that is struggling. Okay. So, and I was really struggling with balancing the two aspects, being a student and running a business. And because, I was so loud with what I was doing from the business angle, I had I had more attention, and more demands for my services and for my time from the business angle. However, I also had a huge demand from my academic angle. Yeah, I was one person who made that decision that I have to, have to lead by example. I'm the first child in my family, and a whole lot of people are looking up to me. So it's somehow to say that I went to school and I did not come back. You don't understand? So one of the things I learned to do then, I didn't see it as balance then. It was later on I was beginning to. So when some people began to ask me, how were you able to do this as a student? And, that was when I began to see it as balance. So naturally, I am someone who loves to stay on her own. So it is possible for you to come to my residence when I was in school, and you ask for IJ, and then they'll be like, I've not seen her for days. But IJ has been going to school and coming back, but she has always gone to school, come back and lock herself in the room. you know. And it's funny that throughout the period I was in school, I never missed lectures. In short, I am an auditory learner. So it is it's one thing for me to say that I've read a book, and it's another thing to say that I read the book, but I also attended that class. In short, just know that it's an A course for me, right? As long as that course is not a difficult course. So I'm more of an auditory learner, and I have to be in class to understand a course. So I don't think I never missed class because of business. I never did. And it's fascinating how I would work. I would come back from school, I would work sometimes into the night and then sleep and wake up in the morning and rush off to school. Right. So but what I discovered then was that I was able to know what my priority was. So I wasn't attending any party. You would not find me gisting with, I had friends. I gave attention to my friends. That's another thing again. I had friends then in school. I had the whole conversation. I had gisted with them. There are times we would, sit down together and we would talk about a whole lot. And still, I was still recording the success I was recording, both academic wise and business wise. So you could see that what happened then was that I was able to know what was a priority for me, right? So from 8 to 4, I knew it was study time, it was school time, and I have to be in school. From 4, when I'm coming back, I'm gisting, I'm laughing, I'm having the fun of my life with my friends. And then when we get to our lodges, everyone dispersed to their lodge, and I go into my lodge and I take my bath, eat, rest, and get back to work. So you could see that I was able to do all of this because I knew what my priority was. First up, number one priority was school. was academics, right? And I graduated with a very fantastic result. I graduated among the top best in my class, right? So it was that decision to know what to pay attention to that helped me. So it was in 2022 that I began to see this as balance, because I was now out of school. I was, out more in the system. I had more time, but also discovered that I was giving time to what was needed. So you could meet me now and you would know that I'm a family person, right? You would know that I am so connected to my family. Short,
I
not
know.
speaking to them, not speaking to them looks as if I'm going to die the next moment, right? So, right? And when you come to the business angle, I'm also there. I'm doing great. When it comes to showing up for my friends, I'm always out there. I want to just show up. When it
They have come
okay,
for
can you
her.
hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Fantastic. Okay, great. So when it comes to spirituality, I'm a church girl. I have to even be in church today, right? So it's how I am able to balance all of this to become the wholesome individual that I am. And so it is intentionally telling myself that this time is for this time is for this, and giving the right time to what it deserves. So, most times we get to see ourselves saying we don't have time for, I don't have time for this person, I don't have time for this, I don't have. Most times I just think it's because you've not intentionally prioritized it to give that thing that time. Because if you do, you would give the time that is allotted for that thing to that thing. And that's what actually helped me understanding that there is something called balance, and that no area of your life should be lagging. Trust me, as we grow, we need to come to terms with this. You can be a responsible parent, you can be a present parent, and you can still lead life changing courses. You can still do great things. Just be intentional about it, right? No, another thing also, being able to make clear decisions. I think the problem we have is that there are some people who say, okay, please, there's a party. You did not plan to go for any party. You did not plan to go anywhere, and then you just get, there's a party happening this evening, and then you clean up every other thing that you were supposed to do. Now sometimes this has to work because maybe it's a networking opportunity, right? But if it's just a random party, why would you have to clear up everything that you have planned already because of a random party? So it's your decision to say, it's your ability to make a decision, a clear decision, and say, no, I'm sorry, I will not be able to show up for this because I have something that I want to do. However, I can make up for it some other time. Decision. One of the things I usually teach young people is being able to say no. Trust me, you would get to live a better life if you're able to know what to say yes to and what to say no to. So what has helped me so far is knowing what my priority is, understanding balance, and being able to make clear decisions whenever I have to. So if you're able to work with this and run with this, you'll find out that you will spend more time on the important things than on the unimportant things. And even those unimportant things, for instance, I love to see movies, right? I love to see movies. But you could always tell that whenever I'm seeing a movie, I had cleared my schedule already. Just know that if you see me, okay, if you see me watching a movie, you should know that I feel so comfortable doing it because that's my time for movies, right? The same thing goes for family time out and all of those things. Just condition your life and condition your mind to think about building balance all around. No area of your life should be lagging. It's not a compulsory thing that one area of your life should suffer. Sometimes it might, but still being able to come back to realizing that, hey, this thing is suffering. What can I do to ensure that I start getting better at it? Thank you.
Okay, that was a whole masterclass. Thank you so much, IJ, for sharing. I totally agree with you, but I would like to hear from Fee Stephen. The way he was looking, I knew that Fee has something to say. Like he has something to say. For someone that productive, someone as productive as Fee, I really love to hear from you, Fee. How are you able to maintain work-life balance, and what are the self-care habits that helped you to, you know, maintain your personality, your sanity, even amidst all the distractions that are around?
So I think that first I would say that some of the things that Dictor said, really profound. As she was speaking, I was just remembering several moments in my own journey where I have had to struggle with this thing called balance. Um, in 2020 December, I was overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed. 2020 was that COVID year where everybody knew they started to know that they needed to come online. So everybody wanted to come online. And if you're a digital marketer and you're good, there are lots of clients for you if you know what you're doing. So 2020 was the year that my agency, my digital marketing agency at the time, had the highest number of clients. So I was working for this person and this organization and that organization. And when it got to November towards December, I was fully overwhelmed. And trying to bring up people and trying to see how I can guarantee the quality of work that I can do was it was a big hassle for me. And I remember reading a book that I think um this book literally shaped not just that period for me, but even beyond that. It's a book called Essentialism by Greg McKeown.
Existentialism,
Essentialism
yes. Essentialism.
Essentialism, yes. I recommend that book for anybody that is, if you know you're being overwhelmed, you have so much on your plate and this and that, just take that book and read it very well. Essentialism by Greg McKeown. The concept of essentialism is quite simple. It's a disciplined approach of trying to figure out where your highest point of contribution is and executing it at the highest possible level. So essentialism starts by you accepting that you cannot do everything. That's the first. There's some people that if you tell them they can't do everything, they know it as a fact, but they have not yet realized it. You have to have that internal realization that Steven, you can't do everything. You
Yeah.
can't do everything. Let it dawn on you. When it dawns on you, what happens immediately is you then begin to see the available things that you're supposed to do, and you start using the the system of prioritization that allows you to know these are the things that I can do, and everything outside of this, even though they are good, even though they are profitable, I have to add that because when I started practicing exercising, one of the things that happened was I started losing money. Let me just put it out there because there are some things that are good, there are some things that are profitable, all right, but you still have to say no to. That's why what Dicta said was very profound. You have to learn how to say no. Good things, profitable things, but on the scale of prioritization, because they don't fall within what you have determined is necessary at this particular time, you have to say no to. That saying no is one of the first ways to manage time, really, because when you say no, you automatically remove the strength and the stress of trying to manage time for something you've already said no to. Now, the second thing is there's this principle I learned sometime this year called Parkinson's law. So there's Parkinson's disease, which is that one is different, but there's Parkinson's law.
Parkinson's law, yes.
Yeah, Parkinson's law is a law that states that work will always expand to fill the time allocated to it. I'll take that
Yes.
again. Work will always expand to fill the time allocated to it. So if you allocate, for example, if you tell yourself, you just wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to clean my house today, I'm going to clean my room today. You just tell yourself that before the end of today, I'll clean my room. You will find out that even though you're staying in one room, just one room like this, 4 p.m., 5 p.m., you're not done with your cleanup. Why?
The day
Because
has
you
not
told yourself,
ended
I'm
now.
going
You
to
said
clean.
before the end of the day.
You'll clean today. So you'll just keep clean. But let's say sometime around 2 p.m., as you are still blazing about, someone that you respect calls you, or someone that you love, for those of you that I need all those love and relationship things, calls you and says that I am I'm on my way to your house now. I just took the Uber just left, or the bike just left this day. That same house that has taken you 12 hours to clean. The person say, where are you now? Oh my god, you're 30 minutes away. you clean that house in 15 minutes and have 15 minutes to rest. That same house that you said I will clean before the end of today. And that's a simple example. And the person will, oh my God, your house is so clean. The person doesn't know what was there 30 minutes ago, right? Because you have decided that this work must be allocated to this time. And this is what happens to a lot of people. And it's really profound we're talking about this because we're about to set goals. We set goals, we make plans, but we don't
Yeah.
allocate time to those plans. You have to allocate time to activities so that if the activities spill above that time, you're already conscious that you're running behind schedule, right? It's not like the activities must always will always enter into the time you allocate to it. Sometimes it spills. Sometimes you underestimate the time it takes, and that's okay. But it's better to underestimate and have a time frame for your activity than to not have any time frame at all. You take all the time in the world. So I think I'll just talk about those two because I know that Fola and Zook will have some other profound things to share around this. So the first is just to buttress on Dicta's point of saying no, and then talk a bit about essentialism, how to select and prioritize the things that gives you the highest contribution to life. If you don't prioritize your life, someone else will do it for you. So you have to prioritize the things that matter to you and focus on that, and then allocate time to activities.
Yeah. So both you and Ijoma Dicta, you answered the first questions, but you did not answer the second question. The second question was what self-care practice has kept you sane and productive? Like, I'm not talking of management of time or work-life balance. What have you done by yourself? What are those practices you do by yourself that help you maybe distress, puts you in a productive mental state? Just maybe one or two.
Okay. I think
Okay. So I missed that.
okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. So I think one of the ways that I
In
distress
1 minute or two.
is seeing movies, right? And then having long conversations with my family and friends. That conversation, that's just it. I love to chat, I love to talk, I love to speak. So Chinaza already knows. So yeah.
Okay. Phil, let's hear from you.
Okay. So
Have they come for you again?
now the thing is, right, I believe that this is very unique. Okay, I think I'm finally back. Can you hear me? This network
Yes,
is
you're
not
finally
going to.
back.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Perfect, great. Yeah, so I was going to say that it's very unique per person. So for me, I have a very high threshold for stress, um, very high. So it's very difficult. It will take a lot of effort for me to feel stressed, and I think I think it's the mindset I had to develop at the time. What I did now, I will not recommend this, but this is me just talking about myself, right? What I did was I tried looking at the people that have made some of the most significant contributions to life, both from scriptures and even in the real world currently. Um, I try to look at the phase of their life where they made that contribution, not their current phase. Sometimes we kind of focus on the current phase. So we look at we look at Tony Elumelu's current reels, how he's taking
How
gelato
is
and things like
balling?
that at this time, and we just start smiling. But I don't look at that. I look at what they were doing at the time when they achieved those feats that sponsors their current reality. So people like Jesus Christ, for example, in the Bible, from when he started his ministry down to when he died, the level of work that he puts in, you will see that he woke up a long while before dawn and went to a solitary place, and then he prayed, and then from there he's off to the temple. He's preaching. They're about to stone him. He escapes from there. He goes to another place to preach. Disciples have gone to buy food. He's waiting at the well. He's already talking to another person. You look at Paul, that Paul literally just survived the shipwreck and said, let us go to the next city. Like, you just finished a shipwreck and you're like, let's go to. So when we look at these people and we say, we want to be like this, I want to be like this person, I want to be like that person, you find out that these people were stretched a lot beyond what would be considered as normal. So the first thing for me is that my I have that consciousness that my stress, what do I call it now, my levels for stress is super high. So it will take a lot of effort for me to feel stressed. That's one. But when I do feel stressed, so there are some things I do, not to distress, but just because I feel like sometimes. So yes, I do things like watching movies. I watch movies from time to time. What
You
else?
watch
I do not like.
movies?
Yes, from
Wow.
time to time I do. Sometimes not even
Oh my
frequently.
goodness. Why are you
But
saying
I do
wow,
watch.
Chinaza?
I do watch movies from time to time. I don't like going out. I love my house so much, especially in Lagos. Going out in Lagos is stressful, but yeah, I prefer to be home. So I do not like going out. Anything that takes me outside it must very powerful to pull me out of my house. But yeah, I do move from time to time to stress. Yeah, outside is
Okay.
stressful in Lagos. Outside increases your stress in this town, so it's fine.
I agree.
Of course, of course. If Ejoma would agree, I was going to say that. Okay, thank you so much for sharing. Mr. Fola, tell me, how do you're a family man and you are leading book publishing in Nigeria. Like you're doing so much. How are you able to balance work and non-work engagements and activities? And is there a practice that you do, that that helps you to stay sane or helps you to be more productive?
All right. Thank you. Thank you for everyone for sharing. Um, the practice for me is hitting the gym. That's not I hit the gym to go exercise. And when I'm there, I forget about anything. All right. So, and it's one way of maintaining that uh, of not going insane, especially with Lagos, of being insane, in Lagos and all that, right? So I go to the gym, I exercise. I recently, I think in 2023, I did well with watching movies. Actually, I saw
You
quite a
did
number of.
well.
Yeah. Honestly, I did well.
Interesting.
I am proud of myself on that, right? So I was able to see quite a number of movies, yeah. And of course, I do audiobooks. I do audiobooks. So to me, it's just then I love music a lot. I listen to music a lot. So
What have
even
you
when
listened?
I love music a lot. So it's one way of relaxing the mind and soul for me. Okay, so about the the other question, which has to do
Work
with how
balance.
work and other things in my life. Okay, so I think that's one of the reasons why I I delegate a lot. You understand? I try as much as I can to hire the right people to be able to do things right for me. So I have always been, I don't know if I should say lazy, but I think that's it. I am not I am not even before I got married, long before I got married, I I was using dry cleaner for those kind of activities. I don't want to be involved in those kind of stuff because I want to use my time for something more productive and all that, right? So that's just me. I try as much as I can. So if there is any project that we are doing, there must be someone in charge. For instance, now our app is coming up. We have the manager that is managing the whole activities happening there. Right. So this is my own way of saying that, okay, fine, I need my time to be able to think and reflect and be able to still have a life. You understand, right? Yeah. So I don't, just like Fee mentioned, I I am I don't know how to do everything. Do you understand? Even the things that I know how to do, I try to train people. I try to train people to be able to do it. Do you understand, right? I used to think that what I do, I can't have people that will be doing it. I used to think, and I think it's like that for many creatives, I think all, right? That what we do, we can have people that can come to that level.
Yeah.
No, they can't do it the way I would do it. You better take it easy.
Yeah.
So you have to have that mindset of being able to train. And there is this say that whatever it is that you know, that you can't train a 6-year-old, you yourself, you
You don't
don't
know
know
it
it very
enough.
well.
Yeah.
So, so you should know it enough to be able to pass the knowledge to someone else. So I think that's it for me. I delegate a lot, and I use that as a way of also reducing the pressure. So I won't say it's so much on me. I won't say I still have my time. I still hang out with friends. I still what's it called? Now, like I said, I saw quite a number of movies this year. I hit the gym. That's why I used to abuse my people, Namdi and Emeka, that they cannot be like. So that's me. I still find a way of making sure that at least I visit the gym 3 4 times a week, except when I am so on the road I mean, Lagos and all. That's when I will miss it 3 to 4 times. I still find a way to create 1 to 2 hours a day, you know, at the gym. So that's it for me. So, and when the truth is, there are times that it will get to that level that I'm not an angel. So there are still times, even with all of these things, that it will just be there. Like the pressure is there and your head is there. I mean, everything is just scattered all over your head. What I do is I speak to people I call my true friends. You understand? Right? Yeah. So I share, and sometimes it's just the word that, oh, it's everywhere, be calm, that I need to hear. Do you understand? It's just those kind of comforting words sometimes that I just
Mhm.
need to hear, and then I am fine for that moment, right? So it happens. No matter how we want to put all this system in place, it still gets to that point that's okay, what is happening? What is happening? Everything in your head and all. So that's how I operate. So it's not magical, but it's just my own normal way of living life.
Yeah.
Thank you. I
Wow.
hope I was able to answer the 2 questions. Was I able to
Yes, you
explain, give answer to
did.
them?
Yes, you
Are you
did.
there?
You- I'm here.
My network.
I'm here actually. Can you hear me, please? Ijoma, can you hear me, please?
Hey, everybody is muted now.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me, Mr. Bola?
Yeah, I can hear you. I think it's his network.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
all
Why
right.
can someone
Thank you
else's
so
network?
much.
Okay.
um, Mr. Fowler, thank you so much for sharing that. Delegation, it's so important. So important. When you're able to delegate, you can have more time to actually spend time with who that you need to spend time with, give time to other aspects of your life. Thank you so much for sharing that, Mr. Fowler. I hope you can hear me now. Dear Peter, please tell us, how do you maintain work-life balance? And is there any practice that helps you, maintain your sanity?
Okay, so thank you for this again, and a real big kudos to every other person who has gone ahead. I mean, everyone has released some really really amazing doses of wisdom, right? And I think we're pretty much just saying the same thing, just in a different way as it applies to each and every one of us,
Yeah.
right? So as it has to do with work-life balance and time management, I think the very concept of time management is a myth, right?
it's not realistic. You cannot manage time. You can only utilize time. You can't manage something that's in a perfect continuum,
Yeah.
right? You can only seek for to achieve utility with the measure that that you have access to and all of that. But as it has to do with work-life balance here, I think that I would say this very summarily, and it's that everybody has to learn to protect the queen, right?
Mm.
Protect the queen, right? And that philosophy is gotten from the game of chess,
Yeah, not
right?
everybody knows how to play chess, so I think you'll have to explain that.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's not like I know how to play chess myself, but I just understand the fundamental principles, right?
Okay.
Yeah. And in the game of chess, the queen is the most important person on the board, right? And so when he has to do, it's akin to something that Fee Stevens said, you know, human beings possess, Bible says that we're made in the image and likeness of God. What that means is that at an innate level, everybody has multiple potentials, right? Everybody's multi-talented, has multiple potentials. You have multiple capabilities, and you can express yourself to your generation in all of this capacity. But you want to be able to streamline of all of this. These are like characters on the chessboard. Of all of
Yeah.
these potentials, which one is the queen, right? Which one is the mainstream, right? There's the way the Bible puts it in Genesis, says that there's a garden called Eden and four rivers flowed into it, right? You would be making a mistake if you prioritize the rivers over the garden, right? The
Yeah.
garden is the reason for this. All of these rivers exist to give nourishment to the garden. So the question is, it's not which one is the fastest way to blow, because I mean, with how cranky the times are, we tend to think about economics first, right? And then everybody just wants to make money. Everybody just wants to blow, right? But then the question is, which one of all of these potentials, which one of all of these expressions, is the queen? Which one is the most fundamental ability that God has invested in me for my generation? And that's the one that you should pay the most attention to. So in you can be a businessman, in you can be a father, in you can be a pastor, in you can be some other thing. There is one persona that gives nutrients to every other persona, right? That without that one, the other ones would suffer to some degree or almost absolutely. Now, that's the one that you want to be able to protect as, the queen, protect and give nourishment, to. Something I was going to say to help buttress this, it has just skipped my mind, you know. But then I think I'm going to remember in the course of this. Yeah, I was going to give an example with the persona of David, right? With the person of David, at some point he was a shepherd boy, right? At another point he was a musician, right? At another point he was a warrior, right? You know, but then as far as his life and destiny is concerned, the primary persona that he would have to interact with the world as is not as a musician, right? Is as a warrior, and so even when the test of Goliath came and then he had to approach Goliath on the battlefield, the Bible gives us an account that the king Saul gave him, David, his weapons, right? Since you look like a warrior, since you say you can take on Goliath and then you are skilled in combat, in one-on-one combat, here is my weapon, here is my armor, here is this stick, and the Bible says that David took on that armor, and then he couldn't prove it. What that means is that he wasn't familiar with it, right? So he had to drop it and go back to his bow and arrow and his sling and his regular stuff, right? Because that is that's the one that would announce him to his generation. That's the most important part of him. If he adopted this new technology simply because every other person was doing it, he may succeed, but he would not be as relevant as the person who is doing that thing as his native, as his native ability, or the person who's doing that thing as his or her in in their native habitats, right? He may succeed, right, but he may just not do it as well as the other person, or he may not have the recognition as the other person who is doing that. So when it has to do with, for me, I want to be able to diagnose of all of my abilities, of all of my skills, of all of my giftings, which one supplies nutrients to the rest, which one is the most cardinal, which one is the focal gift, which one gives essence to the rest, that without this one, those other ones will not survive. Those other ones are dependent on this one. And when you find that, the onus is on you, the prerogative is on you to water that, to build that, to grow that, to nourish that, knowing that by default, when that has been taken care of, the rest will be taken care of. So when it has to do with work-life balance, because one of the things that causes the imbalance in the first place is the tendency to want to do everything, right? Simply because you possess that ability, so you just want to be everywhere. There's what I call performance pressure, right? So I am in your circle now, and Chinaza has hosted a conference, Dioma has hosted a conference, Fee has hosted a conference. I now feel I now begin to feel FOMO, fear of missing out. I feel like I'm the only one who has not hosted the conference, and then performance pressure kicks in, and then simply because I have I have public relations skills and I can gather people, I now feel I'm the next in line to also host the conference. That conference may be successful, right? That conference may work out, but in keeping with the ordinance of God for my life, in keeping with my own journey, in keeping with my own assignment, I may be succeeding at something that will draw me farther and farther away from my ultimate goal, simply because I didn't do that thing, or I didn't perform that in keeping with my own unique assignment. So personally, I don't yield to performance pressure. Before I do anything, I have to check in: how unique is this thing to my own journey, or how relative is this to my own path? How in demand is this skill, is this association, is this whatever it is I'm expected to do? I check, and if it is an ultimate demand, if it's a priority demand, then of course I'll go all in on that. And if it's not, I mean, I'm not under pressure, right? So something Fee said that was really iconic. You know, we sometimes we need to learn. We need to be able to circle back to the people that have made it before us and check where they were in the same time, when they were in the same time loop that we are in now, in their 20s, in their 30s. What did they do? How did they manage, the experiences of that season? Because the Bible says that whatever has been, whatever is what has been, right? And so there's nothing new under the sun. So you want to be able to circle back to that season of their lives, not look at Tonelumelu now and say, okay, because he's wearing a red tie, I also want to wear a red tie. Something, a body of experience built up or culminated in why he chose red as his signature color. Meanwhile, for you, right, your signature color, and I'm saying this on a very platonic level, nothing to do with colors, in depth, but just for the purpose of example, for you, your signature color in life may not be red, it may be purple, but you have studied Tony Elumelu so in-depthly, so deeply, that you can now dress like him, you can now talk like him. So you have succeeded at becoming a second him, and you have failed at being the first and the original version of yourself. You know. So I, as an individual, I like to look at, I like to take the journey from inward out, right? What is that native thing that God has committed to me, right? And then what are the requirements for that? Is this so that, I mean, I grew up knowing how to play football. I knew how to play football. I knew how to act. I knew how to sing. I knew how to do so many things. And so people always saw the multiple visions for me. You will be this, you will be that, you will be that. By the time you go back to your room, you're so conflicted, you're so confused, because you know what you feel like being. And then you heard what your auntie said you should be. You've heard what your class teacher said you must be. You heard what your friend said, oh, let us all be this together, you know. And yeah, so in my approach to work-life balance, I'd just like to take it from inward out. What's the main thing, and then what are the other things? Then, as it has to do with recreational activities, right? In some way, I'll still tie this back to this intrinsic approach, in the sense that what works for you may not necessarily work for me, right? And our paths are very, very unique. They're very, very, very different and very, very unique. I like to look at our lives as humans, as our lives as men. I like to liken it to crops. Agriculture tells us that there are people that there are annual crops, right? There are biennial crops, and then there are perennial crops. And so there are people whose impact in life and destiny, is like an annual crop. It's easier to come by, right? That would just come in real quickly, and then they would make it. They could make it in their 20s, in their 30s, right? And then there are people whose impact in life and destiny could come like biennial crops, right? It may not be as fast, but it won't take as long a time. However, there is a commitment or a trust that some other persons have, right? That is like a perennial crop. And the thing about annual crops is that when they are planted, they take roots upwards. But perennial crops, when they are planted, they don't take roots upwards, they take roots downward first, right? They build capacity for the growth that they're about to, unleash to the world, and they last way longer. So you'd find out that the time of maturation for that person who has a destiny that is akin to a perennial crop will take longer than the maturity time for the person who has an impact goal or a destiny that is like an annual crop. And this is not to, establish any form of irrationality. It is in the intelligence and the wisdom of God to apportion unto us as He deems fit. So we can't say, oh, because this person, this one has an annual thing. And I really want to believe or hope that everybody who's listening in can tap into the frequency of my thought and understand them from there, so I don't have to do multiple. But then so you now imagine someone who has a much more perennial
You can you
composition.
please round off, please, so that we can move on to the next one. Sorry.
Okay, now imagine someone who has a much more perennial composition adopting the methodologies of someone who has an annual composition, right? It wouldn't make sense, although they may succeed at far more, far greater than what they're mortgaging. So in my opinion, there's no one size fits all. I would do something that is in keeping, and for me, it's mostly prayers, right? What helps keep my fire ablaze, what helps keep my creativity ablaze, lots of studies, right? I study really widely, and I read the Bible a lot. So I study the Bible, I study books, I read the news, right? I like to be in touch with what's happening in the world around me, right? I read, I study. I have time where I hang out. I swim. I love to swim a lot. So I love to go to the beach. I like to be in tune with nature. Go to places that are very green. Could be a golf field. Just go sit down there and then just connect with nature, or go to the beach. Just sit down there. I'm not doing anything. Just looking at the water and just drawing inspiration from the beauty, right, of nature. Yeah. So that's it from my end.
Oh my God! At some point, I was like, "Are we still on the topic of work-life balance?" Dude, you are you are something else.
Forgive
Thank
me,
you for
please.
sharing your thoughts. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Because what if I give you, you can talk for the next 2 hours, and you'll still be blazing hot. Thank you so much. I don't even think if I should add any more things to this conversation, because I think you have said it all. But just because I have to just say something. For me, when it comes to work-life balance, especially as a
Mm,
parent, as a student, and as a parent, as a student, as a business person,
As a
and
founder,
as someone who,
founder of Lemon Park. Okay.
oh no, you didn't do that. You didn't do that, Fee.
no,
Fee, you didn't just do
um,
that.
I have four things that are dragging my attention, right? I have to show up for my son. I have to show up online. I have to show up for my business. I have to show up in school. But in all, I think it still boils down to priorities, knowing, understanding that for me, life is in phases. Okay, life is in phases, and at every phase in my life, I look at what is important. What is this phase might require that this part of my life be priority, and this phase might require that this other part of my life be priority. And the way I look at balance is not 50-50. Balance can be 60-40, it can be 30-70. And I learned this from physics when we were trying to balance a 100-meter rule on a pivot. I don't know who is a science student here who did it. So you have to balance a 100-meter rule on a pivot, and then you drop weights at each end. So the point where it balances is the balance point. And even before you drop any weight on the meter rule, it's not even, most times it's never 50, it's never at the 50 cm mark. Sometimes it is at the 48 point something mark. Sometimes, depending on the nature of the meter rule, it's at the 45 point something mark. That is where it actually balances without touching the table or whatever it's placed on. So that fosters my sense of balance. Balance never always has to be a 50-50 thing. At every point in life, some aspects of my life requires my time more than the other, and I try to give that time to that aspect of my life that requires more time. For example, at this phase of my life, school is very important to me, and coming out with a very good grade is very important to me. So I try to arrange my activities around my school. Sometimes, even when I'm speaking with my friends, they'll be like, it's true. But I say, I have a test to prepare for. They're like, it's true. You are still a student. Because it's very easy for them to forget that Chinaza is still a student. But I'm still a student. So my school always demands my time. Imagine being a full-time student and here you have a lot of other things to do. So I plan my activities around my school. Now, when school is not in session, for example, during in August, July, August, I was all over the place. I was speaking at different places, and then people will be like, Tinaza Favor is a student, she's doing this, she's doing that, she's doing that. What they did not know was that I shifted most of my speaking engagements to that period, to that July, August, because that's the time that I was going to be, school was going to be on vacation, on holiday. So I could maximize that window for my non-academic activities. Now, when school was back in session, I stopped taking speaking engagements. And not that I stopped, I took just very few that I knew I could actually deliver and were very, very important and were going to pay me, right? So, and then when it comes to also parenting is a constant attention channel, somewhere I give my attention to every single time. So it's not even negotiable. It does not matter what I'm doing in school, it does not matter where I'm speaking at, I have to be present for my son. However, the times that, because I don't live in the same apartment, the times I'm in school, I make sure to maximize that time I'm there. But when I'm back to where I am with my son, I give him all my time. I give him my undivided attention so that he knows that, okay, mommy is here. I think the best thing that we can do for ourselves is giving ourselves and our tasks the gift of our presence, right? Whatever task you want to perform, whatever thing you have dedicated for, you have allotted for a particular time, the best thing you can do is to be present there. That has helped me to be very productive, because when I'm present, I don't think about any other thing. It's more like I turn off every other distraction. My frequency is not taking any other signal other than what I have allotted for that time. And it helps me to give it my best shot. And when I'm done with that thing I have allotted for that time, I'm able to move on to the next. So, for example, when I'm currently in a meeting right now, and this is all that matters to me at this point. I told my son, Jojo, I have a meeting, so I need you to stay in the sitting room. Well, he cannot stay in the sitting room, but he has tried. So I told him, stay in the sitting room. I will meet you shortly. Okay, I had given him my time before this time, and I had communicated that I will be in a meeting at this time, within from this time to this time. And once I'm done, I'll be back. So the times that he came in here, he knew that I'm busy. My attention is divided. I didn't give him my full attention because this is what I have allotted for this time. Once I'm done, I am back to him. So he knows that mommy is present. You cannot be, you cannot afford to not be present for all your tasks, because as you're doing one, your mind is in a million other places, and it impedes your ability to perform efficiently. So give yourself, your relationships, and every other thing that you do the gift of your presence. It is going to go a long way in helping you to stay productive. Um, when it comes to activities that help me prioritize, well, my self-care activities, I like to spend time in nature. Yeah, I like to spend time in nature. Anywhere that is green, that's where you'll find me. When I'm able to build my mansion, my paradise, it's gonna be a green. People will have to wonder, Chinaza, is this a jungle or something else? Because it's going to be so green, because, well, nature has lots of benefits when you spend time in it. Another thing that I do is I listen to music. I dance. Dancing in particular, I dance a lot. When I feel overwhelmed, when I feel stressed, when I feel like, when I'm not okay, I dance. Dancing is a form of exercise, and it releases feel good hormones. Dancing in particular, right? And exercise, of course, helps. Another thing that I do is meditation. Meditation, yeah, it's over. It has been overused, so it's more like a buzzword right now. But if you can master the art of meditation, trust me, you'll always be able to bring yourself to the present. Capture your mind, um, distress. It's going to help you a lot in staying, staying positive, staying grounded, staying present, and being able to give your best to your world. And the last thing that has helped me also is learning to say no. Boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. Okay, you cannot tell me, just like Ijoma said, oh, there's a party coming up, or there's someone we need to speak, there's someone we need to go, and you give me 2 hours notice, or give me 1 hour's notice. No, no, that's not happening. That's because I like to spend time with myself. So when you just come up with things like that, that I know that is not going to really help me, my brand, my life, or in any way, I have to plan for it. So if you come up randomly like that, I just decline, because I have to be present for other things. So creating boundaries and enforcing them has really helped me. It was a real game changer for me, and it was not so easy for me when I started, because I always like to please people. Not that I'm not a people pleaser, but I just like to make sure that everybody is fine and all that. I don't like to hurt people or make anybody feel sad. So I used to say yes even when it was uncomfortable for me and inconveniencing. But when I started saying no, everything changed for me. So you might need to add this to your tasks that you want to do. So I want to say a very big thank you to everybody who has joined. I cannot believe that we spent 3 hours when the time that we gave was 2 hours. I am so sorry. It's the conversation took longer than we expected, but I'm glad that the people here were able to get value for their time. Thank you so much, Ijoma. Thank you so much, Fee. Before I let you go, can you let us know, maybe in 1 minute or two, how we can connect with you, and if there's any project you have that we can be a part of?
Okay, so let me go first. Thank you. All right, so my name is Okoye Ijomadikta. So if you check me across all platforms, I am Okoye Ijomadikta or Ijomadikta on Instagram and on Twitter. Places I don't go to. Okay, so If I have any offer, I think I have a good number of offers, but there's one that is supposed to end today, but I'm going to extend it for the sake of my friend Chinaza, right? So it's like a bundle, and it comprises of 10 courses of mine that I decided to put together for people who have been asking me questions, simple questions like how can I start out online, how can I launch out my product, how can I price my product, how can I, simple questions that if you randomly send those messages to me via inbox, trust me, it's going to take a whole year for me to even see the message and then reply, you know. So I decided to bring it up. Those very important areas where you are going to be having trouble with, I decided to make them into a bundle that you can access, right? And I slashed the price to a ridiculous amount. Good. And you can actually get it. So I'm going to be extending it for this week. So if you just connect with me, send me a message on Messenger, or if you get my contact of my WhatsApp contact via my timeline, because I randomly post it. You can also send me a message via WhatsApp. So just tell me you want to get the business bundle, and I will get you the details. It's gonna be for this week, and after this week, Otilo. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Fee of the Most High, thank you for staying through. I understand. I know. See, I don't take all of your time for granted. Trust me, I don't. I apologize again for extending. I know that I have very productive friends, so they must have planned other activities for past 6, and here we are, almost 7, still on this. So thank you for being here, and apologies again for extending the time. So
All
please
right.
tell us how we can
Yeah, great
connect
to
with
be
you
here.
and what you have.
Yeah, this has been a great time. I just love the fact that people are getting value, and hopefully you get to practice this and see transformation in your lives. You can connect with me on all platforms really. Fee Steven. Instagram is one good way you can reach me. Instagram is, I think, is the best way to maybe reach me. But yeah, Fee Steven on Instagram, Fee Steven on Facebook, Fee Steven on YouTube. I have a YouTube.
Where are the prayer band team now? You're not doing your job. Just channel your prayers to Mr. Fee's network.
Channel with some videos there. I'll posted in a bit. This live. So yeah, so connect with me using Festival literally everywhere. For offer, I starting your year, it's important you learn something that can be productive in terms of both the value that you can give and also the fact that you can be rewarded. So I'll definitely recommend you check out Dicta's offer. That bundle she talked about, the things she listed, has some specific items that can really make you money. So yeah, go ahead, check out her profile, Ijoma Dicta. Check out that bundle. I think you should give yourself that as a New Year gift, so that you can be a part of it. So that I think is my offer really.
Okay, thank you so much. Mr. Fola, talk to us.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm to give offer, right? The offer. All right. I should not
How can
mention
we
now, but
connect
of
with
course,
you?
my third
How
book
can we connect
is
with you?
coming.
How can
That's
we?
my birthday.
Do you have that?
Hmm?
Can you hear
Is
me?
my am I good? Am I clear?
It seems your network was kind of off. But
Is
can you
my
hear me
audio
now?
good?
Okay, I think we've lost him. I was hearing him for a while there.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I was
Yeah,
I
we
was saying
can.
I was
Can you?
asking how we can connect with you and um how what we can get from you that you offer or render as a service or product.
I heard you. I just don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. All right. Thank you once again, Chinasa. Thank you once
Thank
again,
you.
Chinasa. I said I think it would have to be my books. Okay. So if anyone watching this would like to get my first book, that's Don't Call Me Lucky, where I talked about how I have been moving from one state to another, all right, till the very time that we had to launch Warita. That's the journey of me, all right. And of course, the second book that has to do with mentoring, okay, the whole idea of mentoring. Okay, so if anybody watching this would like to get the book, as in these two books, within the next 24 hours, I will be giving it out for the price of one. So each of these books
Wow.
sells for 5,000 naira, but I'll be giving both for 5,000 naira within the next 24 hours.
Ah, why did they throw Busafola away? Oh my goodness.
He was here throwing away.
Please welcome back and continue to share your offer, sir. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Can you hear me? Can you hear
Yes,
me?
I can hear you.
Am I
Sure.
clear?
Please go on.
Okay. So, so now I don't know where I stopped. I don't know what
You said
you
you were
heard
going to
last.
give your book for the price of one.
Okay, yeah, for the price of one within the next 48 hours. Okay, so if you are interested in getting these books, you can send an email to fola@warita.com. All right, fola@warita.com. And of course, I am Fola Gbadi everywhere on social media and on Facebook, Instagram. Yeah. And of course, you should put publishing your book in your 2024 um, goals, how we write goals, right? And of course, you want to reach out to me, reach out to Warita to be your partner in 2024. Thank you so very much, Naza. Thank you for all you do. Thank you, everyone here. Hi, Jay. It's truly amazing having this section with you. Fee, amazing
Thank
guy.
you.
Thank you for all you do. Thank you so much. Peter, we go connect. Peter, on another level. Thank you so very much. I
No
appreciate
more.
everyone here. All right. Yeah.
Thank you. Duke, tell us, how do we connect with you and what can we buy or get that you offer?
Okay, so to connect with me, it's Duke Peter across all platforms: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, just everywhere. Duke Peter, Peter without an
Okay.
S. I was going to tell you, Chinaza, thank you for you're one of the first people who has not made a mistake in my name. Duke Peter. Each time I always see an S after the Peter. So Duke Peter without an S everywhere, right? And then for
Have I also made a
Jen,
mistake?
sorry.
Have I also made a mistake? Did I call you two pictures?
Okay, no, 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 not when people call me. People make the mistake when they call me, but oftentimes when my face is on a flyer or something, I always see an S and always have to correct it.
Oh,
And
okay.
that, yeah. So yeah, Duke Peter across all
Okay,
platforms:
you
Facebook,
told us how to
Instagram.
connect with you. What can we do
Yeah.
to
Okay, so I have a boot camp. We're putting together a boot camp for January. It's called Polaris Boot Camp, right? And Polaris Boot Camp is basically an immersive and transformative virtual experience designed for visionary thinkers, forward thinkers, entrepreneurs, cultural shapers, you just name it. The goal is to be able to provide a visionary blueprint for reinvention, growth, and profitability in 2024. So, if this sounds like something you're interested in, I would be able. You could just send me a message on Facebook, courtesy of this platform and the fact that you're having to reach out to me before it's publicly launched. I would be able to make a 30% discount for everyone. So it's currently selling. We have a VIP ticket at 20K and the basic access ticket at 5K. All right, whichever one that you can be a part of, you'd have a 30% discount courtesy of China's favor.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. There's something about me and events. I'm going for any event or to any event and it is paid. I usually go for the highest package because they have the highest benefits. I mean, why should I go for a 5K ticket when I can go for the 20K ticket? So y'all go and get um, registered. You have 30% discount just for being a part of this. You see what relationships do. You see what but I say I have friends. Just believe me. Just believe me. It's not I'm not making mouth. So go and grab this. You've heard Duke speak. So you know that his mind is something you want to tap from or tap into. So go register for that. Ijoma Dicta has amazing offers. She's an amazing woman. She's a lot of things in one. So go get her offers too. They're going to help you position better in 2024. For me, well, you're already on my platform. My name is Tina as a favor. On Instagram, you can connect with me to Tina as a favor. On YouTube, Tina as a TV. That is all. I saw somebody asking me how we can polish public speaking and diction. Well, I have a course on public speaking. So on communication, one of the things that we do at GemSpurt is to help you refine yourself when it comes to publication, communication, to leadership, and social etiquette and elegance, even though the last two that I mentioned are not yet live. So for now, at GemSpurt, you can actually look at this our courses on communication. So we teach public speaking, we teach writing, we teach storytelling, we teach networking, and we teach how to grow on social media. All right. And that's for the courses. But if you want me to take you by the hand and guide you, there's also an option for one-on-one coaching that comes as a different price too. But the courses, you can get any of the courses for 10,000 naira each. Trust me when I say that they are transformational. Like you cannot go through the courses and you're not refined in your communication skills. So thank you very much, everyone. That is basically all about us. Mr. Fola, you're welcome back. Thank you. What can I say? Starting from all of you who have been here since we started, and for those who tagged their friends, invited people, thank you so much. After, I think I saw you on night school, right? That name is familiar. I think I saw him on night school yesterday. Thank you for joining. Those who joined on YouTube, thank you. Those who joined on Facebook, thank you. Those who are still live on Instagram, thank you. Lady Victoria Wando. Wanna Ndu, I think I saw you too. Thank you for joining, all of you. It's been a pleasure hosting this. Yes, I saw you. Good to know that you were there. And to our conversationists, thank you so much for honoring my invitation. Like, you don't know how much this means to me. Thank you, Ijoma. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Fee, phenomenal man. Thank you so much. Mr. Fola, thank you so much for honoring my invitation. Duke, thank you for being here. This means so much more than you can imagine. And not just about me now, but the people whose 2024 would take a different shape from what it was going to take. Like, everything is a trajectory. Without this conversation, I'm certain that some people's year, 2024, will have taken a whole different negative turn. But because of this conversation today, because you availed yourself to be here, a lot of people, I saw someone who commented that they're adding building solid networks in 2023 as one of their goals. 2024 as one of their goals. Imagine if they weren't here, they wouldn't have known and understood the power of having very valuable networks. So thank you so much. Like, I cannot stop saying this. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I am honored to call you friends. Yes, I'm calling you friends because I can call you my friend. Thank you. I love you so much, and it's been an honor being here. Thank you. Thank you again. Do you have any last thing to say before we go off?
Okay, so thank you so much, Naza, and I seriously want to appreciate you. You're doing an amazing job. You're one of those people that I look at and I'm like, there's something in her that she's yet to unleash. So I'm honored to be your friend, and I am honored to also be on this path with you. So get ready. 2024 is here. Let's do it big again.
Yes.
All right. So thank you so much, Fee. Fee, the brother that is closer than a friend. You know how the Bible put that? Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Fola. Mr. Fola is somebody I admire so much. I admire and I honor you. Thank you for all you do in the publishing industry. And thank you so much, Duke. Oh, Duke is somebody that when he's speaking, I'll go and carry my jotter, my pen, because he will start dropping gems. Thank you so much for being here. And to everyone, thank you so much. God bless you. See you in 2024.
Thank you. It's true.
Thank
See, 2024. Oh my God. Fee, talk to you. Talk to us. Talk to us. Talk to us.
Yeah, Dicta has said what I wanted to say, but it's fine. I'll just add a few things
Say it.
to what she said. But yeah, I think this was very profound. I always refer to words as seeds. So one thing with seeds is that when they are planted, you have no idea how great they will germinate to become. So this was just a 3 hours of farming that we just did. And I trust that the seeds that have been sown will germinate in the hearts of men to become giants that they're supposed to be, or they have the capability to become. So thank you, Naza, for doing this. Thank you for putting this together for this community and then for other people that would be privileged enough to watch the replay. And also thank you to Dictar, to Duke, and also to Fola for coming on board for this period of time. I know it's a massive sacrifice, and I recognize that even on behalf of Chinazar, and I want to say thank you. And for every other person that's listening, now that you know these things, blessed are you if you do them. Go ahead and create an action plan. What you start doing, what you stop doing. Um, make One thing you can do in 2024 is make sure that the distance between learning and execution is as short as possible. Make sure the distance between you knowing and you doing is as short as possible, and you will get the results that you are looking out for. Yeah, growth will cost you, not growing will cost you more. That's all for
Yeah,
me.
I was waiting for that. I was waiting for that. Thank you. Thank you. Duke, talk to us, please.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So this has been amazing. You Chinaza for putting this together. You know, I can imagine what it took for you to do this. Thank you, and God bless you. Thank you, Fee. Thank you, IJ, and thank you, Mr. Fola. It's all of you are phenomenal, right? Just like to build on what Fee has said, it's not just enough to hear, but please make up your mind to shorten the distance between ideation and execution, right? The world rewards executioners, right, far more than it rewards strategists. So don't just wallow or glory in the fact that you can think of big ideas. You must sustain the capacity to deliver on those big ideas. And then for those who will be reaching out to me for to be a part of Polaris Bootcamp, please do so tonight. Maybe between tonight and tomorrow. This is not going to last forever, right? So between tonight and tomorrow, just reach out to me. Let me know what package you'll be signing up for, and I'll just onboard you before we make the public announcement. By this week. Right. Thank you so much. I'm super honored to be here. Nazar, God bless you. And I'm proud to be called your friend. And I'm proud to be called a friend to everyone
Oh,
in this room. God bless you.
thank you. Mr. Fola is not here to give his closing remarks, but thank you, Mr. Fola. Thank you for being here. This means a lot. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you. This is 3 hours, 12 minutes. Okay, 3 hours and 13 minutes that we have been here talking and sharing insights, and you have shown up. You have been here too, learning. This means a lot to me, because imagine that we came here to share these insights and nobody was here to listen. It will require a higher level of willpower, and great confidence, or greater confidence to continue the conversation. But you are here, you've been sharing, you've not just been listening, you've also been engaging in the comments, because I see your comments every single time. Thank you, everyone. Mr. Raymond Okpani, Mr. Sam Harvard, every one of you who took your time to be here. AFSA, I don't know if that's an acronym or actually your name, or Basi, Courage, I think I saw Marvelous Ben too, Christine, Obioma, Courage, Miracle Promise, Miriam Okeke, Rosie Kosi, Chinaza. Rosie, you started with us, and it's interesting that you're still here. Thank you for being here. Chinaza Purity, Ubuchi Dema, Emanuela. Um, who else do I have here? Christiana, and every other person who has been engaging and making valuable inputs in the comments too. I see them all. Thank you for being here. I hope that it was worth your time. Like the reason I hosted this is so that we can look back on 2023, see what happened, see what went right, what went wrong. I really talk about what went wrong. We capitalize on what went right and how you can include that in your strategy for 2024. It's going to be a great year for all of us. It's going to be an amazing year for every single one of us. But it's not going to be that great year if you do the same things that you did this year that sabotaged your success, your chances at success. So don't be the reason you're not succeeding. Just like Duke, Fee said to Duke, and Duke told us that Fee said to him, make sure you've done everything or that you do everything that is in your power to succeed next year. And like I always tell my people, more is within your control than are outside your control. So don't really pay much attention to the things that are outside your control that you cannot do much about. Pay attention to those ones that you can control. When you can maximize the things that you can control, trust me, your life will be on a very smooth sail. So 2024, I wanted to shun three things: procrastination, mediocrity, all right, and low self-esteem. Shun them, okay? Get courage, build your self-worth, gain clarity, so that it will be a year that you look back on 365 days from now and say it was a year well spent, or it was a year that was worth living. So thank you everyone. It's been a pleasure. It's been an immense honor hosting you to this conversation. Thanks to my friends who showed up. I cannot stop saying that. Thank you everyone. I hope to see you next year. Not I hope. I'll see you next year. Okay. As you're setting your New Year resolutions and setting goals, make sure that they are smart. Okay. They are specific. They are measurable. Okay, make sure that every single thing that you need to do are done for 2024, and I cannot wait to see how much progress you'll be able to record. Make sure your goals are actionable. Make sure they are time based. Okay, they are time bound. Sorry, so that just like Fee said, um, when you exceed that time, you know that you are running behind schedule, so you can actually increase your pace and get things done. Thank you again. I'll end the session here. I hope you have a very wonderful night's rest. I remain your host, Chinaza Favor, and until next time, stay sane, stay cool, stay healthy. I love you. Bye, and Happy New Year in advance.